Hello, people. Am I live? Can I be heard? Am I alone? Am I in an empty void where no one can hear me, and I'm just sitting here talking to myself, and madness is ensuing, and the world is going to end, and what's the point of anything? Ah. Also, I'm getting a weird echo from my can. Hold on. Sometimes if I have a can sitting like under my mic, I'll get like a weird echo coming back from it, and it's really annoying. Really annoying. I sound good. Oh, that's even better. Hey everyone. Hey Sean. Hey Renegade. What's up? What's hip? What's happening? Welcome to Mild Fuzz TV Live, episode 2. I'm not going to keep track of the numbers that much because it doesn't really matter. The grand scheme of things. It's not like there's planned events or planned things happening or anything. And Firefly is looking up at me, saying, "You're going to stop paying attention to me now for a while, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am, Cat. I'm sorry, Cat, but I will not be, seeing the rest of my DVD shelves are weird." That's not the rest of them. That was just the little ones that were around the corner before. Most of them are still, up above the camera. I am fine, Renegade. Thank you very much. I had an awkward nap, and woke up like 20 minutes ago. So if I sound kind of weird, like I have like just woke up voice, that's why, basically. I feel good though. I feel good. I had a weird sleep last night, so I had a thing. Da 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 da. Right, there we go. Yeah. So apparently the countdown wasn't necessarily working for everyone. I don't know if that was because I hadn't like started pumping the stream into the YouTube yet. I don't know how early I started doing that last week, because it was probably earlier last week because I was just making sure everything was working fine. Whereas this week I was just kind of like, nah, 5 minutes before's fine. I know what I'm doing now. Firefly, don't you behave now. You behave now, Cat. Don't you dare. Yes. I feel like half of these streams are going to be me fighting with cats. All 3 cats are in the vicinity this time. Wesker's asleep. We have Garrus, not asleep but still lying comfortably on the bed, and Firefly is behind the computer monitor, looking mischievous. You're enjoying the Mr. Robot reviews. That's cool. That show's great. It's one of the most in-depth discussions we get to have, I think, is with that show. I mean, some of the later episodes we went over an hour on, just on, like, we went longer on the episodes themselves, diving into the themes and the implications of what the episodes were doing, and analysing the filmmaking. Really good stuff. Mr. Robot's one of the best shows that's on right now. Well, I say on, it's not on right now. We're waiting on the final season. It's coming soon. 2019 sometime. Interestingly, speaking of things coming soon, apparently the scuttlebutt is that Black Mirror Season 5 isn't actually coming till next December. And we only got Bandersnatch this Christmas. And part of the reason why they pushed it is because Bandersnatch took so much time to do that they had to delay Season 5. Hey, David. Thank you, David. thank you for loving my work. No, I'm glad you enjoyed it. David, I don't know if you're still listening to this, and at least if you're not listening to this live, you'll hear this later. Next week there will be a late night edition as well, because next week this regular version will be on Monday at the same time as normal, and then I think what I'll be doing is there'll be a late night version on either Tuesday or Wednesday every week, depending on which day me and Connor are doing certain things, depending on Connor's schedule. So that'll bounce between Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but it'll be more like 10 or 11 Eastern, and what's that, 7 or 8 Pacific. So there'll be a late night edition starting next week, on Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know which day it'll be yet. But usually on about a Sunday or so, I'll put up the you know, the event. You know, it'll have the countdown, and you can set a reminder, and it'll tell you when it is. I should have posted a thing today, saying it was. I don't know how redundant it is to post a thing like on the comments or in the community tab, saying, "Oh, remember the live stream tonight." Like, I don't know if it actually matters if everyone's getting notifications from the thing. Hey Pang, not missed the show. I'm here. Just started, in fact. There's been 5 minutes of very little actual conversation so far. It's been cat updates, explaining current moods and situations. No worries, David. You have a terrible work schedule then. I'm sorry that I cannot accommodate that. But no worries. But I figure that'll be cool for some other people. I expect some people will catch both, depending on where you are. But I mean, if I can do both, certainly other people can too. But just a slightly different time for a different time zone crowd, I suppose. What's happening on Facebook? I'm getting notifications. Nah, boring. Let's close that. Let's not waste time there. Dear. Yeah, I'm a little bit chilly. William, have you recorded the review for the Travellers finale yet? We have indeed. In fact, the Travellers finale video has already been uploaded, and it is sitting waiting to be published, which I'll be doing sometime after we are finished with the live stream. It is waiting and it's ready to go. In fact, the reason why it's waiting until a little bit later to go up is because that'll be the third thing that goes up today, so they'll just spread out over the day. Elsewhere in the Multiverse was early, and then the Screams After Midnight, which is every Wednesday, went up a couple hours ago. So it's waiting there to go. But yeah. So done. Because we got quite good with Travellers. We'd been recording them after the first couple. We were recording them almost every day for like the first 6. So we got kind of ahead of when they were going up. But we knew that between like 6 and 7 there was going to be like a 4 or 5 day gap. So we just kept consistently putting them out one every other day, so that for the audience it was one every other day for the whole thing, and it was very consistent, which is the professional way to do it. So that to you guys it is this slick, like clockwork system, but behind the scenes it's actually all over the place. But that's okay, as long as we stay ahead of what the release schedule is. It doesn't really matter. And hopefully we can keep that up with Trek, because we've recorded 6 episodes of Next Generation already, and hopefully we can keep a little buffer up so that when things get busy and we can't record anymore, we can still put them out consistently every week. It's not the end of the world if we can, if things get really bad and busy, but yeah, we can do what we can, do the best. So yeah, how is everyone? What's happening? It's new comic book day today. It was actually kind of weird having comic books today because last week had none. So that was exciting to wake up to. I actually forgot it was Wednesday, which meant there was a moment of realization after being awake for about half an hour that, oh shit, I've got comics today, and I went, oh shit, the live stream's tonight. Not that I'd made any other plans to do anything. Lewis, do you own all the DC animated movies? I do not own all of them. I own... How many have I got? I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16... I've got about 20, 22 of the DC animated movies. Dan's discussions. You literally marathoned the whole of Travellers over the last couple of weeks. Never even considered watching it until I saw your top series of last year list. Was surprised at how enjoyable I found it. Do I think there'll be a season 4? I hope there'll be a season 4. I'm glad that we convinced some people to watch that. Actually, it's always really nice to hear when someone checks out a show because we championed it a little bit. Because I know we were trying really hard a couple of years ago. There was a show on I think it was Cinemax. Cinemax had a show called Quarry, which had Logan Marshall Green in it, and it was a really good show that no one was watching, and we were trying our best to champion it. But do I think Travelers will have a season 4? I would say probably. I think I'm leaning towards it will be renewed, but I mean, it could go either way. It's really hard to gauge with like Netflix because they've started cancelling more things, but at the same time, I never know how successful one of their shows is. I think Travelers is quite cheap compared to a lot of the other shows, so it maybe doesn't have to hit the same sort of threshold. But I would very much like a season 4 to expand upon what it did. That said, one of the things that I did say in the review for the finale, which is going up tonight, is that this season 3 finale does kind of work as an ending if there's no more. If it gets cancelled now, it kind of works. So I'll leave that there. Have I read anything from today yet? Not to skip Renegade. I felt actually I just realised I skipped Renegade's comment, and Renegade's comment unfortunately said she's feeling a bit depressed, and I was like, I can't skip that comment. If I skip a comment saying you're depressed, it might make you feel worse. So I am sorry to hear that, Renegade. Hopefully I'm cheering you up a little bit with my shenanigans. And Sean, have I read anything from today yet? I've read a few things from today. I read Heroes in Crisis, Wonder Woman, Action Comics, and Detective Comics so far. Which I will not say too much about, because obviously the show's coming on the weekend, but which is part of why the show's going to move to Mondays, so that there's no temptation for everyone to ask me about this week's comics. I suppose it affects the Marvel show more though, because we won't be recording that until Tuesday night every week. Happy to hear that, Renegade. Happy to hear that. But mostly liked what I've read so far. A couple of sleazy pages in Heroes in Crisis, but some interesting story beats. So, but it was just nice to have comics this week, and it's a lot of comics this week. Compared to last week's zero. Well, that's not entirely true. I had a couple of Marvel books last week, but it was also epic catch-up week for Marvel. Let's own all the main released DC animated movies on your iTunes account. That's cool. I have about 22 of them on Blu-ray. The last... How many? The last few years I've just been kind of renting them as they came out. I've not felt the need to buy most of them. That said, Death of Superman was really good, so I might get that at some point. Because Death of Superman was legitimately great. AFJ. I know Travelers, if it gets cancelled, the reason will be that it was too expensive with the lead actor commitments. I don't think it'll be that it was too expensive. I think Travelers is a relatively cheap show compared to a lot of what Netflix do, because it was originally like a Canadian network show, so I don't think it's that pricey. Actor commitments could be a thing, although that said, given the show's premise of jumping from body to body, like, you could actually get rid of an actor without it affecting that much in a weird way. It'd be a shame to lose an actor, but you could do that. What's my favourite show of the year? Pang, I am going to respectfully decline to comment on that, because me and Connor are going to be recording all of our TV award stuff this weekend. We'll be doing our top 10, we'll be doing best episodes, best new shows, I think. Best new shows is a weird one this year, because the last few years we've done a top 10 new shows, and it's been a really good list every year, because it's been like, oh, there's 10 shows worth saying, hey, this started this year, check this out. This year, it's not the same thing, actually. There's been less new shows worth talking about, and a lot of good shows overall that returned, but like, I think it'll be a top 5 new shows, and even then, I don't feel as enthusiastic about the top 5 new shows as I did the top 10 the last couple of years. So, that's what it is. Lewis, looking forward to the upcoming movies from DC. I am looking forward to Reign of the Superman for sure, which is the sequel to Death of Superman, which I thought was really good. So excited for that. And the other ones could go either way. Because Death of Superman, it's not like I was looking forward to that before it came out. Because I think the recent animated movies have been kind of okay, but mostly not amazing. It'd been a while since one really impressed me, and then Death of Superman just was a great surprise. Dan, have you guys planned when you upload your top TV series list for this year? I was kind of getting to that, wasn't I? We're recording this weekend. We're recording the first 1 or 2 awards videos on Friday, so I would expect the first one to be up the weekend, and they'll probably be every day or two from there. So top 10 shows will be last, just because that's kind of the big one. But there'll be an awards one like we did last year, which is like, we'll talk about best actor, best actress, that kind of thing. Do best shows, best single episodes, and probably best new shows, which will be a top 5 this year. But I'm kind of tempted to scrap that one just because it feels like there's less to put into it. Yeah. All the movie ones are coming in February. We're giving ourselves some time for that so we can catch up in movies that we didn't get to. Not necessarily do reviews of them on the channel, but just see more movies that we've missed from 2018. Thanks, Mako. That's really kind words. Watch for the. I don't know. I think the chat does get replayed when you watch this again later. I noticed that when I was checking how the video was last week. So I don't know if I have to actually repeat every question, but I think it's just good practice if you're just listening to it. You're not paying attention to the chat. So yeah. So Mako was just saying that the channel and how much work we put into it. So I appreciate those words. Thank you very much. AFJ, good sci-fi series that got the cut was Incorporated. Did you cover it? We watched the first 4 episodes of Incorporated back when it aired. And we thought it had potential, but we kind of lost interest fairly quickly. It had that kind of thing where, we got to episode 4 and we both kind of were kind of looking at each other going, were we kind of putting this off because we couldn't be bothered watching this? And we kind of both felt that way, so we just kind of, we dropped at the time. It was also a very busy season at the time when we dropped that. Dan, I think your favourites of the year were The Deuce and The Expanse. Interested to see what happens budget with the Amazon picking up from Sci-Fi. Yeah, no, I'm curious. I mean, I feel like Amazon might want to. Well, for a start, the fact that the head of Amazon's a big fan is probably really good for them. I mean, it got them saved for a start. And I feel like I don't think it'll go down. I think at the very least, Expanse will consistently look as good. There's a chance that it might even get better. What I would expect maybe though is less episodes. I think season 4 will only be 10 episodes because that's just kind of the Netflix and Amazon kind of typical model. So it means no 13 episodes next season. I think I've not seen that anywhere. I'm just guessing that, but I would guess it would be 10 episodes. Did I get to see Mortal Engines Renegade? No. I have not even considered going to see Mortal Engines. I thought the trailer, as much as I don't hate the idea of a steampunk movie about cities that move, the trailer looked a little bit weak to me. And Peter Jackson has not really made a good movie for me in like 25 years. So I'm good. And yes, I know I'm hurting Lord of the Rings fans, but those movies put me to sleep. So I'm good. Sean, what is the worst thing you've had to review on the show? Nightwing 50 and any of the following issues don't count. So are we talking comic books specifically here? Because if we're expanding this to other things, the worst thing that we have ever, I'll give you one for each. Comic books. Comic books are harder actually, because I feel like, has there been any genuinely terrible like single issues that we did issue 1 of and it was like, no god, I have to get away from this. I can't think of anything. But TV shows, South of Hell. This was a really old review. This was back in 2016, when Mario was still like doing stuff on the channel. But we did a random show called South of Hell, and the pilot was laughably bad. I remember it took 10 minutes to start that review, because every time I went to introduce it, I burst out laughing because it was so terrible. Absolutely atrocious. Worst movies. The worst movie me and Connor have done is Blood Rain, which was Patreon's fault last year. That was an Uwe Boll film, the first Uwe Boll film that either of us had seen. The worst movie I've done with Tim was a really low budget movie called It Watches, and it was horrendous and worse than just about anything else we've ever done. And we have done some serious shit on streams. And I think, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of bad movies in the streams, but that is definitely the worst one, no question. John, you catch most of my sci-fi reviews, or our sci-fi reviews rather. Not sure if you've done the Orville. Looking forward to season 2 next week. Hope you watch that. It's a very tongue-in-cheek and great fun. We actually did the pilot of the Orville last year, and it is one of our most disliked videos because I said it was shit. So I'm sorry to disappoint. But I kind of hated the jokes in that episode, and I didn't want to watch any more of it. So people seem to like it, which is great. But that is like one of the most disliked videos we have. The dislike ratio on that is like through the roof. People, I was very blunt about how I felt about that episode. I hated all the Seth MacFarlane humor, all the jokes. See, if it had just been a Star Trek knockoff, I probably would have enjoyed it, but all the humor was pissing me off. So hopefully that's not a disappointing answer. Renegade, I love Lord of the Rings, but I totally understand people finding them boring. Yeah, just not for me. Cure for Insomnia is kind of my feeling on them. I also don't like fantasy that much, so it's definitely a personal taste thing. But Buana, hello, welcome to the stream. Happy to see everyone. So if you're just tuning in, next week it will be on Monday for this time. At the 831 time. That's 8 UK, the 3 Eastern, 1 Pacific. But there'll be a late night edition on Tuesday or Wednesdays every week, depending on what night me and Connor are staying up to watch Drunk Arrow, and I think it'll be Drunk Flash going with it because Titans isn't on anymore. So just watch for that every week if you're wanting to watch the late night edition of the stream on a Tuesday or Wednesday. It'll just by Sunday every week I'll put up the video with the reminder and stuff, and you'll see what it is then. But that'll go between the 2 days, week to week, depending on which one fits. So yes, Buana, McFarlane sucks. I agree. A Million Ways to Die in the West is one of the most painful theatre experiences in my life. I hated that comedy. Oh god, I hated that movie so much. Reggae, do you still get nasty comments on your Green's Inferno video? Joe, every so often, there was one a couple of weeks ago that was just, F you or whatever. And a lot of them do seem to be foreign. Like, a lot of them seem to be people who are not speaking in English. And funnily enough, when I check the video statistics, we do seem to get a lot of viewers for that in the Philippines, and I don't know why. I don't know why for some reason that video is a hit in the Philippines. Or I say a hit, it's enough people have watched it in the Philippines that so many people in the Philippines get it recommended or whatever, so they're watching it. I don't understand it, but yeah, we still get nasty comments on the Green Inferno. One of the terrible movies that we have reviewed, might I add. That was a fun review though. The three of us had a lot of fun tearing that apart. William, Seth MacFarlane humour isn't that great to me either. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I don't actually hate Family Guy. I actually kind of enjoyed a few seasons of Family Guy. I think I got up to episode 100, and then it kind of changed a little bit. I think once Stewie stopped trying to kill everyone or take over the world or whatever he was doing, it kind of just started to get repetitive, and I fell away at that point. But so I don't hate Seth MacFarlane completely, but everything else I've seen from him I've not liked. Have you ever tried the Netflix show Atypical? I have not done. And tried, yeah, you corrected yourself. I actually said tied and didn't even think about you said tied. I just went for it. But no, not tried atypical. I heard it's good. Renegade thinks Eli Roth is paying people. That'd be amusing. Hey, if you wanted to just pay us directly, I mean, I would say nice things. I'd do it tongue in cheek though, so that it was obvious that I wasn't being serious. But I would say nice things. AFJ, I'm on the lookout for old and obscure sci-fi series like Logan's Run series. Where can I find the most comprehensive list of Wikipedia doesn't cut it, or IMDb? I don't know. If we're going for obscure, I'm not really sure. I actually didn't even know there was a Logan's Run series. I'm familiar with the movie. I've seen the movie, but I had no idea there was a TV show. I feel like TV shows pre like late 80s, unless it's the really big classics like Star Trek or The Prisoner or you know, maybe even stuff like Lost in Space and things like that. They don't tend to be as well known. So I'm not sure. I feel like a sci-fi enthusiast website might be the best place to find that sort of thing. Buana Family Guy turned bad when they went to HD. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the fact that they went to HD had nothing to do with them turning bad. That just happens to be coincide with the quality going down. But yeah, that's fair. John, the Jim Carrey show, kidding, is very dark humour and pretty shocking at times, but worth a watch. Yeah, that was one we were kind of aware of when it was about to start, and I don't know why we didn't try it. I think it might have just been we were busy at the time. We had a lot of shows to do. Maybe there was like 2 Netflix shows on at the same time or something like that. Am I a Seinfeld guy? I do enjoy Seinfeld, yes. Seinfeld's one that I watched all the way through. I saw like a few episodes on repeats like growing up, but I watched it all the way through maybe about 10 years ago and thought it was great. I actually watched it all the way through after I'd watched all of, at the time, Curb Your Enthusiasm all the way through. And I've actually got the last season of Curb still to watch. I've not got around to it yet. And they're filming a new season, so I'll have 2 seasons to watch at some point soon, which is nice. Johnny on the spot, can you elaborate on what specifically were Connor's objections to an interactive TV show? He just really didn't like the idea of it. If anyone watches the TV news, you'll remember that like a month or 2 ago there was news of a TV show. I think it was Hulu. There was like an interrogation like crime thing, but you could watch the episodes in any order and they'd all go up at the same time. And he hated that as well. He hates the idea of not being presented just with a final finished product. And I kind of get it, because I'm not even necessarily that enthusiastic about it. I talked a lot in the review how I think it kind of hurts the storytelling a little bit, the fact that they have to leave it open for the multiple choices and the paths and things like that. But Connor, for some reason, sometimes he sets his mind to something that he gets stubborn about, and he insists that he's not doing it. So he just didn't do it, even though it was Black Mirror, which is weird. It's weird that he didn't do a Black Mirror episode, but he's actually more pissed off at it because he read that they delayed season 5 because it took so long to like develop and make Bandersnatch that season 5's not coming till end of next year now. Well, end of this year. It's 2019 now. I need to get used to that. Oh yes, Happy New Year everyone. It's 2019. Renegade, did you see the From Dusk Till Dawn show? Curious if it's better than the movie. Not seen the show. Did you not like the movie? I thought the first movie was pretty fun. I never saw the sequels. I have no idea if they were. I doubt they're good, but the first one's an interesting film. It's a very fragmented film because it's like clearly 2 halves. Because it's the first half is a Tarantino movie and the second half is a Rodriguez movie, but it's a decent time. And so there was a single season of Logan's Run. That's interesting. I had no idea that existed. Cindy, I could not get into kidding. All the characters were too unlikable. Yeah, that can be a problem. That's actually the main thing that me and Connor felt with Deadly Class. Also a fairly unliked video. Not quite up at Orville's level yet. It's not had the same number of views, but Deadly Class has a lot of fans who seemingly didn't like that. Because Connor, that was one where Connor was the blunt one. Connor was like, I hate this, like within like 10 seconds. But, you know, That's what it is. Sometimes you just don't take to something. Dan, I watched The Truman Show for the first time today, randomly speaking of Jim Carrey. Oh, Truman Show is fantastic. Truman Show and Man on the Moon were two Jim Carrey movies that I didn't like when I first saw them because I was like, 10 or whatever, and I was expecting a Jim Carrey comedy. But now that I'm older, I love Truman Show so much. And Man on the Moon's really good, but Truman Show's fantastic. I love that movie. Malade, I think I'm saying that right. Looking forward to American Gods. I'm kind of in between on American Gods. Connor liked the season more than I did, the first one. But yeah, it's coming in March, I think, is the season premiere. So hopefully the production issues haven't interfered with the storytelling too much, because it had some delays and executive problems and things like that. AFJ, do you like the Big Bang? You mean Big Bang Theory? Or is there a show called Big Bang that I'm unfamiliar with? Daniel, also welcome to the stream, because this is the first time your name's appeared. Will you review Saga on the New Comics podcast, or is it just titles that you have recently started? I like Saga a lot. I've read the first, I want to say, 4 trades of Saga, and really like it. So no, when it comes back, because it's on hiatus right now, more than likely I will be covering that on the show. Connor's not a big Brian K. Vaughan guy, so it'll just be me, but I will definitely be aiming to review Saga on the comics podcast when it comes back. Hopefully, I mean, usually the great thing about comics is that you always get like 3 months notice from the solicits when something's coming, so I'll have 3 months to catch up, and I'll probably just read it from the start again. I'll probably just read 1 through whatever we're up to, like 50, I think, right? 55, something like that. Because I love Saga. From what the 24 issues I've read have been fantastic. So I'll definitely be doing that when it comes back. Renegade, you didn't like From Dusk Till Dawn. The first act was a lot of fun, and you like George Clooney. Yeah. Some people only like half of it, and it depends which half they like based on their tastes. Big Bang changes into a show for women later on. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's an interesting point, Buan. I had not heard that. I just Big Bang Theory is kind of a. It's a very CBS sitcom. I watched a couple of seasons of it when it started, and it was kind of just okay. But the more it went on, the more it just kind of felt like this was nerds being written by people who didn't like nerds or didn't understand nerds, or it feels like a very stereotypical show as opposed to actually being kind of loving about pop culture. Cindy, are you guys going to review season 3 of True Detective? We are going to try season 3 of True Detective. Episode 1 for sure will be reviewed. If we review the whole thing, it'll just depend if we like it or not. Reason for that is because season 2 sucked. So we'll try season 3 because it's an anthology, so it might be better again, but season 2 did suck a lot. So but yeah, we'll definitely be trying season 3 rather. Already tried season 2. Tried that more than enough. Taylor, will you and Tim review the new Twilight Zone? I don't know if it'll be me and Tim. We'll definitely be reviewing the Twilight Zone, but it might be me and Connor doing that. Because Connor's the TV guy. Not that Tim's not done the occasional TV show in the past. But that might be me and Connor doing that. AFJ. Yeah, Big Bang Theory. Yeah, okay. I assumed that's what you meant. I just in case there was a show called Big Bang that I wasn't aware of. William, will you be reviewing season 2 of American Gods? Most likely, or at the very least, we'll be trying season 2 of American Gods. Connor quite liked the first season. I was a bit more mixed on it. So it's one of those things where, like, I think the schedule's open enough to do it when it comes back, but so assuming it doesn't get really busy at that time, it probably will be. I'm not super excited about it. Like, I'm like, yeah, first season was okay, but I'm not in love with it. Renegade Hero saw Evil Dead 2 because you heard good things. My God, it's so cringy. You didn't like Evil Dead 2, Renegade? What? It's supposed to be cringy. Evil Dead 2 is supposed to be over the top and cheesy. Oh, come on. Evil Dead 2 is having fun. How can you not love that skeleton fight? Evil Dead 2 is great. I will not accept that's blasphemy. Mako, Love Saga 2, fantastic comic. If you review it, I'll probably reread it. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to rereading what I've read already myself, and then catching up for when it comes back. But it doesn't have a return date yet, because I've got like a little bit of Lazarus to catch up on, but only like I've got X66 and like maybe the 2 or 3 issues before that, so I don't have a lot to do, and that comes back in March, so I'm looking forward. Buana, will you ever review the? I'm not saying that phrase with this one. Will you ever review that television show, The Clone Wars? Highly unlikely. Possibly never. In fact, Buana, funnily enough, you put hashtag review the Clone Wars on a few different old videos, and after the second time you did it, YouTube started blocking them because it thought it was spam. I started getting notifications in the spam folder because you had hashtag review the Clone Wars just popping up in multiple videos really quickly. Which made me laugh, because I know you're just mainly doing it as a joke, but YouTube was like, nah, having none of this. And don't encourage him, Renegade. Don't do it. Ah, dear. AFJ, am I the only one who simply got lost with Westworld Season 2? Lost interest. You're not the only one. I saw like a reasonable amount of people online who lost interest in Westworld with Season 2. Me and Connor did not. Me and Connor were really into it, and I think I said in one of the reviews that it reminded me a lot of Lost, where that a lot of people really started to hate or lost interest in what that was as it went on. The more it did more different things, and I feel like either you're in for the ride or you just like the specific thing that it was doing in Season 1, and then once it starts doing other things, you're not into it. It's the same with Travelers. A lot of people think Season 3's finale jumped the shark, and I think for me it was like, no, it changed things up. It brought a new idea to the table, which is interesting. And I'm all for shows evolving. I think jumping the shark is used too often these days. People just use that when something happens they don't like, when it's really supposed to mean that it does something really stupid. And I guess you could argue they think it's something really stupid, but I don't know if it necessarily is in every case. Anyway, where was I? But now I like Westworld Season 2. But fair enough, if you didn't like it, you didn't like it. Plenty of shows to watch. Daniel, Love Saga and like Paper Girls. Yes, Paper Girls is also pretty good. I read the first 2 volumes of that. And the final batch of issues is starting in March. I don't know if I'm going to cover that just because it's the final arc, and I don't know if it's worth catching up before that just to do 6 issues. I might change my mind though. Oh, pardon me. Dan, most anticipated new shows coming next year, or do you make a video for that at the end of the year? Do you know what we used to? We actually didn't do it last year, because we did one at the end of 2016 going into 2017, and we decided not to do it again because so many of the videos that we said got delayed and didn't even come in 2017, and then some just disappeared and never happened. And it also felt weird because it felt like everything we said we were looking forward to, it was like a promise to review it. And there was a couple of them that by the time they came out, they had really bad like buzz, they came out at a busy time and we couldn't do them. So I think we made the choice not to do it because it felt kind of almost like it didn't have a lasting impact. But yeah, if you're asking like what I'm looking forward to, is there any new shows I'm looking forward to this year? Because I'm obviously looking forward to Stranger Things Season 3, I'm looking forward to Mr. Robot's final season, looking forward to The Expanse, you know, all the things I like, Better Call Saul, everything I like, all this stuff. But is there any new shows that I'm looking forward to? I mean, I guess I'm curious about Doom Patrol and all the other DC shows, Swamp Thing, Stargirl, like, I do want to see those. And I suppose Batwoman as well. Not that I get super excited for a CW show, but you know, I'm curious enough. This is Buana. Will you review the hit television show, The Dick Van Dyke Show? I had to approve that comment. It really doesn't like that guy's last name. Understandably, because it's also a very offensive word for something else. But, no. to put it simply. Just a straight no. Lewis, are you looking forward to Batman Hush animated movies? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm like super pumped, but some of these animated movies end up being really good. Some don't, and Hush is packed with villains and fun moments, so I don't see why that couldn't be a blast. Renegade Hero, you lost interest in The Flash after season 3. I cannot blame you. The Flash has a lot of really rough patches in its seasons, and has done pretty much the entire show. What? I've never been to Amsterdam, Buana. I don't know what that joke's supposed to be. But I have never been to Buana. I've never been to Amsterdam. You're Buana. See, I told you I'd just woken up not long ago. Yeah, where was this? Yeah, so The Flash, yeah. We do all the CW DC shows on, obviously, TV Multiverse, and they have their moments, and the crossovers are fantastic. But yeah, they have a lot of shit in them. We kind of accept that and just have fun making jokes about them, though. But if you don't have the patience for it, then yeah, don't waste your time. It's fine. Sean, I'm beating you to the reference. Why haven't you reviewed that television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Excellent. That's an excellent question. Joe, we actually, me and a guy who's not on the channel anymore, me and a guy called Alden started doing that in 2016, and he basically just stopped being available. I think his computer broke for a while, and he made no effort to like get it fixed. So it just kind of stopped somewhere in season 2, and then I had the idea last year to start doing the commentary tracks for Patreon. So I've been doing those, and that'll be the Buffy and Angel content for a while. Outside of the new comic books and the new show, if it launches soon, obviously they'll get reviews. But one day I'm sure we'll do like full reviews of Buffy and Angel, but I don't think it'll be while I'm doing commentaries, or at least not anywhere soon, because I wouldn't want the commentaries to feel like they're being made redundant by the reviews also existing. But yeah, Firefly the cat, indeed, he's here still. Like that. One of the good things about this new setup is that you'll see the cats walking along there a lot more. You'll get more cameos, I think, in the background. Bird Box review coming. No plans right now. We were really busy over Christmas, and it wasn't just kind of on the forefront of our minds. There is a good chance the Bumblebee review should still be coming, which I know is maybe not as exciting because it's a very different movie, but I should be seeing that tomorrow actually, and Matt saw it a day or two ago, so there should be a Bumblebee movie review coming. That's to say, there won't be a Bird Box review. Sometimes we sneak more extra movie reviews in, especially early in the year when we're catching up for awards reasons. Buana, when did so many stores turn into Funko Pop stores? For example, Hot Topic. I can't explain it for Hot Topic, but I can explain it for any place that traditionally sold movies or CDs or DVDs or stuff like that. Basically, the internet is taking away all of their business, so selling collectibles in Funko Pop, which are really popular, and merchandise is how they survive now. Comic book shops are the same thing. They sell a lot of Funko Pop and stuff like that because it's like a lot of their business. That's why. I mean, it's not really answering when. I'd say sometime in the last 3 or 4 years. But there you go. Renegade, I actually have a CD of the music from the musical episode of Buffy. Yeah, Once More With Feeling. I never had the CD, but I'm familiar with the soundtrack, and can probably recite far too many of the lyrics, even though I don't like musicals, because it's the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and it must be done. RS, do you think Alice, Elizabeth Kane, will be the big bad of Batwoman season 1, and do you think they will do Colony at some point? Colony's an interesting question. I think Alice will definitely be the big bad. Like, I think it'd be insane if Alice wasn't the big bad in season 1, because that's like her only real nemesis, right, is Alice. I think you do Alice season 1, and then I think you probably have her still come around occasionally. But I think after that you probably mostly do like Batman villains. Just have her steal Batman villains, because why not? Maybe we get Mrs. Freeze, because we teased that in the Elseworlds. Why not? But yeah, I think Alice is a dead cert. Colony's an interesting one though. I think her dad will definitely be in it, but do they do Colony? That's a good question. Sean, yeah, the last time you went to HMV, like a third of the store was graphic novels, pops, t-shirts, and other merchandise. Yeah, that's how they survive now, because they can't afford to just sell movies and stuff, because digital's a thing. Even before digital, people were buying them online because they were cheaper. Like, you know, things have changed. Mile High Comics second store closed. Yeah, not surprising. It's happening a lot now. Mako, yeah, Comixology is offering such sales. Comic book shops can't compete. All the DC comics you read are digital. Yeah, all the comics I read are digital. I do miss it sometimes, the physical books. Like if I hunt, I'll just push the cat. What was I saying? Yeah, I do miss it sometimes, because the feel of a book in your hand is really nice. Like, I do, like, you know, like having an actual book in your hand and flicking through it does feel good, right? I like this. I miss it. But digital books are cheaper. I don't have a comic book shop near me. If I wanted to get physical comics, I'd either have to get a train ride that would be like an hour's journey and cost, you know, travel money. Or I'd have to get them delivered, which would cost delivery money, and I wouldn't get them till Friday. So it's just not feasible. But you know, so I if I had a comic book shop down the road that sold comics at a comparable price to Comixology, I would totally do it. But you know, this is a variant of a. I wasn't even reading this Green Lantern one. I just bought some of these movie variants because they were kind of cool. This is a 2001: Space Odyssey crossed with Green Lantern. I've got a few of those. Where am I? Oh, I need to scroll up, actually. It's going too fast now. Can I scroll up? Where's the scroll wheel? Shit. Hold on. Pop out chat. Can I make it bigger? I can. Nice. Alright. Where are we? Yes. So Comixology sales are great. Yeah, I agree, Mako. In fact, that helped me catching up with a lot of Marvel books this past 2 weeks. Having a bunch of them on sale was helpful. AFJ, I'm surprised why you don't have more subscribers. I can't think of another channel that does reviews that have the quality and depth of yours. I really appreciate that. That's a really nice thing to say. There's definitely only good reviewers on YouTube. We obviously stick to kind of a podcast style where we just have conversations. Obviously some other channels will do like edited, you know, videos with clips and things like that, and obviously there's a market for that. But we get to do a lot more stuff because we keep it simple, and we hope that the conversations is good enough to keep people entertained. But yeah, we like to have good conversations. Sometimes we have good conversations. Sometimes, you know, we'll finish a review and I'll be like, that was kind of shit. Not in that it was terrible, but just in the sense that the TV show or the movie didn't give us enough to really have a good conversation about, so we tend to just have a silly conversation. The really bad ones are when there's nothing really good to talk about, but we don't really end up having much fun because we can't think of anything to say, so it just ends up being a bit plodding. Luckily, those are few and far between, but I appreciate the compliment, AFJ. Thanks very much. Renegade, any predictions for Mr. Robot Season 4? Oh god, no. I can't predict Mr. Robot, you crazy? Season 3, we were like, or Season 2 even, we were predicting time travel. Not seriously, but kind of, like in a weird way. But yeah, he's taking on the 1% of the 1%, and I'm looking forward to that fight. But I love Season 3, so really excited. I have no idea how to pronounce your name. Pajke. Apologies. Peke, maybe? The J is maybe silent. Anyway, do you know that next year, if The Leftovers will have a season 4, half the episodes are going to happen in Australia? That is hilarious. Thank you very much for that. That is a joke because when me and Connor were reviewing The Leftovers, Connor randomly said that he thought season 3 was going to be in Australia, and I said he was talking nonsense, and then most of the season was in Australia, and he happened to be right, but there was no reason for it to be. Like, it was still an out of nowhere prediction. Yes. Also, thanks, Renegade. But Anna, I see a lot of mums with their kids collecting Funko Pops. Yeah, I don't like Funko Pops that much. Luckily, no one's tried to get me one as a present, because it's a really obvious present to get a nerd. But I have made it very publicly known that I think they look kind of stupid. Just so that no one will buy me one. Because I don't want them. Matt likes them. I think Connor's got some. But, nah, I'm good. I'm good. You can have them all, guys. It's fine. Mako, I miss chatting with the comic book shop owner about comics, but listening to your reviews scratches that itch. Yeah, no, I'm glad it does. I think a lot of what we do, I like the idea that it kind of fills that void. Because I think there was a time before, like, podcasts and, like, specific internet shows on YouTube were a thing. I remember in high school, because YouTube was just starting as I was getting towards the end of high school. And even then, it was, like, 10-minute video limits and things like that. You didn't necessarily have people that you knew that were into these really nerdy things like you were. You know, there was no one, not everyone has people around them that share those interests. So I think that fills, like, podcasts and stuff on YouTube fills that void for a lot of people, including me, in a lot of ways. So, you know, I'm glad that people feel that way. Because I've spoken before about how I think, like, us doing Netflix shows that are binge watches fill in that water cooler conversation between episodes, kind of thing, if you want to experience it that way. Sean, I still go to a comic book shop. None of my friends read comics, so I like to be able to talk about comics. Reading to people outside of the internet. Wait, what? I think I misunderstood that. I still go to a comic book shop. None of my friends read comics, so I like to be able to talk about comics I'm reading to people outside of the internet. That's confusing me. Hold on. You're saying you don't have any friends that read comics, so you like to be able to talk about them outside of the internet. I think you mean on the internet. That's what's confusing me. It sounds like you talk to people in person about comics, but you don't have friends who read comics. I'm confused. Am I missing something obvious here? No worries. No worries if not. I'm maybe just being dense. I think I get the sentiment. Buana, how tall are you? Who would win a fight between me or Connor? I am 5'10", I think, and Connor is a little bit taller than me, I think. I mean, I would win, because he's Connor. RS, if Batwoman brings in Catwoman, do you want her to be a cat burglar as usual, or maybe in Batman's absence, Selina has become the mob boss like in Batman Eternal? I could see the latter happening. I don't know, it's interesting if they bring in Catwoman. I feel like Catwoman's a weird thing to put in a Batwoman show, because I feel like Catwoman's whole thing is that she flirts with the main character, right? She flirts with Batman. And obviously that works with Batwoman, because Batwoman's gay, but it's opening this weird, like, fan fiction kind of door that maybe they don't want to open. I can see the mob boss thing working, though. I feel like they'll probably stay away from Catwoman, because Catwoman's kind of a big character compared to others, but I'd be cool with mob boss Selina. Renegade, but Peter has the range, so I put my money on him. Oh, the rage, sorry, not the range. Yeah, the rage. Yes, I have the rage. Yes, quite right. Connor has the crazy eye. He does have the crazy eye. He also has that hiccups. That's why in a stealth fight I would always win, because Connor will hiccup and I'll know where he is. Sean, I agree with AFJ. You guys deserve more subscribers. Anytime I see someone on Reddit asking about a comics podcast, I always recommend you guys. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Actually, it's funny. Every so often, I'll go onto like the Reddit, the DC Comics Reddit specifically, and I'll see a thread like that, and it is always super nice to see like a thread where it says, "Hey, is there any DC Comics podcast?" And I'll just, I'll scroll down and I'll read the replies, and seeing one or two people say our podcast is always really nice. In fact, and I remember sometime last year, or maybe it may have even been late 2017, I remember being on a message board, not looking for anything to do with us, just being on a comic book message board, and they started talking about podcasts, and someone mentioned us, and it was so weird because it's like, at least in the Reddit thing, it was like a thread about podcasts, but the conversation just turned into podcasts, and they mentioned us. It was just like a weird kind of cool, like, oh, someone brought us up. Mako, I love your reviews even when I disagree with you. I think negativity and clickbait titles get the clicks. Hope you continue your steady growth. Yeah, clickbait's a thing. We actually stopped. This is an interesting story that maybe not everyone knows, but our TV reviews, obviously our TV reviews are called Almost Cancelled, and we picked that name back when it was going to be just a podcast that was weekly, and we thought it was a cool title because it was the idea that everything we liked on network TV, and this was like right after the end of like Fringe and Chuck and things like that. They were on the bubble every year, so we liked the title Almost Cancelled. And we started doing individual reviews. We actually got several comments who said, oh, we avoided watching your videos for a long time because we thought the Almost Cancelled thing in the thumbnail was like clickbait or like intentionally misleading, or the thing was actually maybe cancelled. And it was never meant that way, which is actually why we stopped putting that in the thumbnails. It just says the TV show in the review. Because I think once you click on the video and we say welcome to Almost Cancelled, you get the context that it's not an implication of anything. It's just a title. But enough people thought that we stopped putting it in the thumbnails because they thought it was clickbait. But yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, we crossed 5,000 subs though recently, so yeah, that's a nice milestone. Hopefully we keep going quicker and quicker. I actually spent some money on Facebook this week to advertise the end of year comics podcast. Not a lot, but just I thought we'll try a bit of advertising for a change. Lewis, I like all the DC animated movies that have come out so far. Can't wait for the 4 upcoming movies. To remind you that Reign of Superman comes out on January 15th. You're watching Batman v Superman Apocalypse right now. Yeah, January 15th. We will be doing a review of it. Me and Connor typically do the DC animated movies when they come out. We try and get to them the day they come out if we can, if the schedule allows for it. So we'll be trying to get one of those out on the 15th. Might end up in the 16th or the 17th if things get busy. We're actually recording some reviews in advance for March because March is Detective Comics 1000 and the 80th birthday of Batman, so we're doing a bunch of Batman movies in March, so there'll actually be extra influxes in March, so that we can do more than 4. Yeah, Renegade, I love your reviews even when I disagree with you because you guys are honest and are kind about it. You're good dudes, even Tim. Surely that should be even Connor. Tim is much nicer than Connor. You're all funny. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think it's okay to like really hate something if that's just how you feel about a movie or something like that, as long as you have fun while you're hating, or if you're not having fun, you're at least being very critical and making good points about, and try to explain why you hate it so much. I think when people just sit and say, oh, we hate this, and don't really say anything, because it can go multiple ways. It can be an in-depth critique as to why it doesn't work, or it can be passionate hatred where we're just making fun of it and having fun. As long as it has the right kind of tone to it, I think that kind of works. So we try to do that. Again, I think mostly we succeed. There's the odd thing where we have kind of a down day and it just doesn't work quite in the same way. William, don't get the appeal of Funko Pops either. They look stupid. I agree with you, William. I agree. Sean, regarding my comment about talking to people outside the internet, I meant at the comic book store. Okay, I get it. I get what you mean. You talk to people at the comic book store. Yeah, I get it. I've never really had a regular comic book store. It's because there's never been one near me. It's always been like in the city, a train ride away. So I've never had that rapport. Also, the store that's in the city is like a franchise store, so it doesn't have that, small feel to it that I think a lot of good comic book shops have. RS, do you think the CW could do an adaptation of the Rebirth Doomsday Clock storyline, only with the charlatan characters instead of Watchmen? Use Captain Atom instead of Manhattan. I don't think they would. Could they? they could probably try something. I feel like there's a lot of other big events they're going to go through though before they, because I feel like obviously Invasion and Crisis on Earth X were based loosely on comic book events. They certainly took names from comic book events, but Crisis on Infinite Earths is definitely the first one that feels like, no, they're just taking one of the big events and they're just doing it. And I think that'll happen. You know, we'll get more of those big ones. You know, I don't know if we're going to go straight to like Infinite Crisis or anything like that, but I can see them doing other big storylines long before they get to Doomsday Clock. But who knows? I mean, I'm not going to rule it out. They totally could. I wouldn't want them to ruin the relationship with the drama with Felicity. I got confused there because I used to say that I say the name at the start. That was Sean who said that. I said RS because that's the first part of the comment. But you're right. It would ruin the relationship drama with Felicity because that's what everyone's there for, right? Boana, I found your podcast by searching for a review on DC Comic that no one else did. I think it was Titans. That's cool. I noticed if you actually Google DC Comics podcast, I think we're the first result. So take that, Weird Science. We came first, even though they have a much bigger audience than we do. But still, suck it. We're first on Google. Haha. Haha. But yeah, that's cool though. That's cool. I think I know Tyler, one of our patrons, said that he found us by searching for a Green Lantern podcast and ended up finding us through that way. But no, it's always interesting to hear how people find us. So it'll be interesting to see how the Marvel one grows, the Marvel and Indie one, because obviously we expect it'll have a decent start because some people will come over from the DC one, but will that gain new people, kind of thing. Lewis, why not include Matt in that review? In the animated movie, it's not a choice because we don't want him in the review. It's basically a scheduling thing. Matt's got a much busier schedule. And we do the comics every Saturday, and me and Matt do movies typically on Sundays if there's new movies out we're going to do. If we had to include Matt, we would probably be looking at like much later. And I don't think Matt keeps up with the animated movies as often as we do. Like I think Death of Superman, we were like, hey Matt, you should watch this. You know, he hadn't seen it yet. So he's not necessarily got the time in his schedule to like do all these extra reviews. Whereas me and Connor try and squeeze things in if something interesting pops up. It's the same reason why he's not on the Marvel and Indie comics. But it's not that he's not interested or that he wouldn't want to have time to do that, but he doesn't. So there you go. RS, considering that they're loosely adapting Red Sun for Supergirl, what if they do White Knight for Batwoman Season 2? In Batman's absence, the Joker, Sane and Jack Napier is trying to improve Gotham. I don't think I would like that, because it was my least favourite part of White Knight. I mean, what I liked of White Knight was the insane Batmobile car chases and the giant freeze cannon and shit like that. The whole Jack Napier stuff, I wasn't super big on. I am typically a fan of not giving Joker a name or a backstory. I like him being a mystery, so I would rather they didn't, but they could do that. I could see them taking elements. I think Harley Quinn's maybe more likely to show up because it's an arch nemesis for Batwoman potentially. It's a woman villain. I could see them maybe going that route. I'm not saying they'll never do the Joker. Like when they eventually do Batman, like they did in Supergirl with Superman, I can see Joker maybe showing up then. But there you go. Theo, has Connor said anything else on his rejection of the Bandersnatch format? Someone asked that earlier. Not really. He's just adamant he's against it. He's if anything, he's more annoyed about it now because it's delayed actual season 5 Black Mirror to the end of 2019 because they took so long working on it. They had to push the actual season. So now he's upset that his regular episodes aren't coming because of the interactive one. Lewis, do you prefer physical movies or digital movies? I prefer physical because purely for technical reasons. It's not so much that I have to have it on a shelf, although I do like having a collection on a shelf. The bit rates just aren't the same, and you can tell the difference. Or at least I can. Like watching a movie in 1080p on Netflix does not look as good as a 1080p Blu-ray. It just isn't as good. It's good enough. It's perfectly watchable, but it's better. And then the other thing, of course, is the audio. Audio on streaming services is like capped at like Dolby Digital Plus, which is in terms of bitrate, it's only 640k, whereas on Blu-ray you get lossless audio, which is like 6 times that, and it does sound better. So physical's better just because they can put so much. To put it in comparison, a movie on Netflix I think is like 5 gigabytes, for example, something in that range. A movie on a Blu-ray disc, I mean the disc itself is 50, but the movie typically will be about 30 to 35. So it's like 7 times the bitrate. And I know that sounds all very technical, but there's less compression artifacts, things look a bit crisper. So physical for that reason. Renegade, I found your channel because I was watching a review for Autopsy of Jane Doe and our video popped up. That's interesting because one of the things we can check on our analytics is some of the traffic coming in where we suggested on other people's videos, and it'll tell us that, and we can see what videos people have came from. Most of them though are actually our own videos. Most of the stuff, the traffic we get on our videos that come from other videos are just our videos, where people get the recommended videos at the side and they'll just click on more of ours, which is a good sign. It means they like us, that they're clicking on more. But yeah, so that's cool. I'm taking a drink because I've been talking for a while. Alright, it's Golden Age Earth 2 Green Arrow died in Crisis on Infinite Earth, so TV Oliver might die. That's true, actually. I think I'm expecting it just because of what they did in Elseworlds, thematically what they set up, but who knows what they're going to do. Who knows? Did you see the trailer for Itsy Bitsy? That looks awesome. I have not seen the trailer for Itsy Bitsy. I know I promised last week we're going to try and do a trailer talk by the end of the week. That did not happen. We are hopefully recording one tomorrow. So Itsy Bitsy might end up in that list, assuming I agree with you and it's worth talking about. But it probably is. You're probably right. Sean, first episode of your show I watched was the DC Rebirth announcement discussion back in 2016, and I've watched every episode of comics from the multiverse since. That's really cool. It's really cool that you were there right at the start. That was such a specific thing. It was like they made that announcement that they were going to do this Rebirth stream, and we, having all really liked DC Comics and seeing this as a way to sort of jump back in a big way, it was like, hey, do you want to do a podcast? Do you want to, the three of us, do you want to do this? And we were really enthusiastic, and it was kind of weird how there was this 2.5 month gap between that stream and then the actual episode 1, but that was fun stuff. It's funny, actually, I'm curious, how is everyone here, because most of you, if not all of you in the chat at least, aren't Scottish. I'm curious how you found our accents the first time you watched us, because every so often we'll get a really shitty comment, or not even a shitty comment, sometimes it's just a sort of very neutral comment about, oh, this seems like a good show, but I can't understand what you're saying, so bye. And that's kind of fair enough. We got a really shitty one recently, saying, why can't you speak American? You shouldn't be doing videos, get off YouTube, or something mean like that. But I'm curious at how people find it at first. I think back when I started doing YouTube, I intentionally tried to slow down my speaking a little bit like this, just so that there was enough time for everything to process as I was talking. I think over time I've kind of gotten away from that, because I naturally talk kind of fast. But that said, if people tell me I'm talking too fast, I am willing to tone it down a little bit. Sean, there was a random episode of Comics from the Multiverse early on, the Rebirth stuff, with Tim on the show. Why was he in that episode, and why wasn't he in more? He was in that episode because it wasn't a regular, it was like an annual episode with less books to talk about, I think, I want to say. Or at least there was few enough books that week that it didn't feel like he was sitting there quiet for too many books. Tim would be great to have on more episodes, but he doesn't keep up with the books, which is why he doesn't. He reads a lot of stuff in trade. And he's a bit more of a Marvel guy as well. Is the other thing. Oof. Where are we? Dan, what are some of your favourite actors and actresses of 2018? Anyone you see stepping up their game over the last year? I mean, every year we say Bob Odenkirk, Elizabeth Moss and Handmaid's Tale, obviously. There's some really great ones. In terms of stepping up their game in 2018, though, oof, that's a good question. Who went above and beyond? That's a really good question, actually. I'm trying to think if there was any specific kind of shows or movies where I went, oh, I didn't expect that from them. I didn't expect they could be that good. Actually, I'll give you one in the opposite way. Tom Hardy in Venom is garbage, which is insane because that man carried an entire film set in a car for 90 minutes by himself, and it was like the best film of the year when it came out. I don't know what he's doing in Venom. So that's the opposite. That's stepping down. That's plunging off a cliff. Pepsi Max, indeed, Buana. Pepsi Max, indeed. Yeah, that's a good question, Dan. I don't have any good answers off the top of my head. I'm trying to think of like any actors who like, oh, they were better this year. RS, do you think Wally will come back in Young Justice Outsiders? I'm still upset about Heroes in Crisis. I think so. I feel that they will. I Speed Force and stuff is basically all I'm going to say. I'm not worried about Heroes in Crisis. I feel like the whole point of that book is to eventually reveal the trick. So we'll see. We'll see. I'll leave that there. I don't want to get into so many spoilers. Buana Beast, it's so hard to tell with Young Justice. I feel it would happen later in the episodes if Wally came back. Yeah, Young Justice has fantastic continuity and brings things back. You know, in the first 2 seasons, it would bring things back from early season 1. It would do these things. I think we'll be pleasantly surprised with all the sort of stuff that they continue on from those old seasons. AFJ, I found online movies suffer from motion blur due to the high compression used. Yeah, they do. I also noticed like artifacts on certain streaming services. Amazon's the best one. Amazon has the best bitrate out of all the main streaming services. It's better than Netflix, just in terms of pure quality. Still not as good as Blu-ray, but better than Netflix is. Netflix can be a little bit hit or miss. Renegade, I love your accents. Your voices are soothing. Oh, thank you. F those people who told you that. Yeah, sure. I won't get too angry about it. It's just kind of what it is. Like, some people are very ignorant and don't like having to understand people from anywhere else. But I think equally there's probably also an honest market for people who almost like us more because we have accents. We're more interesting maybe because we have accents, depending on your taste. Dan, I have no problems with the accents. You have Scottish family, to be fair, but in general, accents have never been an issue. Yeah, it just depends what it is, because, I mean, obviously, I can handle American accents 99.9% of the time, but every so often there'll be a really thick accent from a really specific place that's like, whoa, okay, slow down, buddy, I can't quite get it. I remember actually watching The Wire Season 1 and struggling a little bit with some of the dialogue in that, because it was very heavy slang in some of the scenes, and it was like, whoa, okay, slow down, let's put on subtitles. I got used to it though. Like, you know, by the time it got to Season 2, I was fluent. I knew what everyone was saying. It's just how language works. Some people just aren't willing to get used to an accent or a dialect. They're just not used. They just don't want to do it. But most it's fine. You think Tim was in a normal episode, Sean? It might have been. I think there was less books back in those early episodes though. So it was probably just low enough that he was able to. Mako, I understand your accent perfectly. There are some words that sound different, but overall it's not a problem. Maybe because you talk slowly, it's easier to understand it. It's interesting you say that, because I feel like most people tell me I talk too quick. I feel like I'm talking quickly right now, but maybe that's just perception. That's fair. Buana, it was harder at first, but I caught on by the end of episode 1. I don't understand some slang like Connor calling you a knob. Yeah, Connor is more guilty of using slang than I am. I intentionally... I mean, and this is not even because of the shows. I just don't really use slang that much anyway. I'm just not a fan of using slang. Whereas Connor will use some British words or phrases here or there. I typically don't like doing that, even in normal speech. I've just never been a fan of it. On the rare occasion I do it, it's usually very sarcastic. It's usually... I'll be doing it to be ironic and be extra dickish about something. But typically I won't use slang. But yeah, knob just means dick. It's just calling someone a dick is a knob. That's all that is. William, I recently watched It Follows and your review for it, and your accent sounded thicker then, but I still didn't have any trouble understanding you. That's interesting. You think it sounded thicker in an older video? That's interesting. Huh. Oh, that's a curious observation. I haven't noticed any difference myself, but then I probably wouldn't. Other people would notice it. But yeah, It Follows is fantastic. I love It Follows. AFJ, I am from Wales. Don't talk to me about accent abuse. Oh, I'm so sorry, AFJ. I am so sorry. If I could do a Welsh accent, I'd be doing some Welsh phrases right now. Here's something, AFJ. I had a discussion once with an American about Constantine on the well, it was the NBC show at the time. And I said it bugged his accent. It was bothering me because he's supposed to be from Liverpool, which he's not even trying to do a Scouse accent. But Liverpool's got a really specific accent. But that'd be okay. Like if they just said he's from London, whatever, I don't care, right? But they specifically said he was from Liverpool, and then on top of that, the actor is Welsh, and he sounds very obviously Welsh. Like he's barely trying to hide it. And the person I was talking to said it doesn't matter. It's the same country. And I thought, oh, that'll upset some people. So yes. Apologies to AFJ because Wales is the. I won't be too mean. I was going to say it's the armpit of the UK, but that feels a bit mean. But yeah, and I only say that because you've got that silly native language that you still use for some reason. And I say that knowing that certain areas in Scotland still use Gaelic, but it's definitely not as widespread as Welsh is. Renegade, the standout actors for you are Rami Malek and Tom Holland, but I skipped Sean's comment. I am English, so I don't really think anything about the accents on the show. Yeah, that makes sense. I think people from the UK are used to dealing with so many really different accents because they're like even just like two areas in England that are like next to each other have like ridiculously different accents. So just get used to it. Buana, I still like Heroes in Crisis. I mean, I like Heroes in Crisis. Cat, stop hitting the pop shield. You're going to mess things up. I mean, I am fairly enjoying Heroes in Crisis, and I am optimistic about where it's going. I kind of like the fragmented nature of it, which some people hate. I do have a couple of issues with the new issue, even though I like the story the most, but I'm going to stop there. We're not talking about today's books. I'm banning that discussion. Renegade, also Gwillem, what sort of name is that? Gwillem Lee. He sounds Welsh. Ben Hardy and Joe Mazzello from Bohemian Rhapsody. They're as great as Melek. Yeah, that's cool. There are hack for higher bit rates hidden within the Netflix app. Is there? Oh, I'll have to look into this. That is interesting. Sean, I've got a Scottish family and you speak much slower than all of them. That's cool. I wonder if that's just because I intentionally try to at first for the shows that I have just naturally taken on a slower voice. I don't know. But some Scottish people can talk really fast. They can talk like this and it's really hard to understand because you talk really quick and you don't really make sense out of it. Nico Dav, your accent is not difficult to understand. I'm a big fan of Outlander and they speak a lot of Gaelic and 18th century lingo. Yeah, I don't speak Gaelic. Gaelic's a really small thing. It's a niche kind of thing. That's the north of Scotland that speaks some of that. Alright, not exactly TV related, but considering that the comics Earth 3 is a world where heroes are villains and vice versa, what would Earth 3 Eobard be like? Would he try and help Johnny Quick to be a hero? Yeah, I mean, because Earth 3, typically the villains are the heroes, right? Like, typically Joker and like Lex will actually be good guys because it's the Justice League or the Crime Syndicate, and it's like Ultraman and Owlman and Superwoman who are the villains. Firefly. You're being a pest. There you go. There you go. Ow. So, yeah, I'd assume Eobard would be a hero on that world. Renegade hero. Any horror movies you're looking forward to? Yeah, I'm looking forward to Happy Death Day 2 for sure. I'm looking forward to The Lighthouse, which is the director of The Witch, his next movie. What else am I looking forward to this year? I'm sure there was a couple more. Buana, do you have any VHS? Not anymore. Not for a long ass time. I basically dumped all my VHS en masse when I switched to DVD. Long time ago now. That was back in like 2001, something like that. It was like, no, VHS, no time for this nonsense. I don't even have that many DVDs. I've only got like maybe a handful of DVDs now. I went full HD, basically. Mako, have to get back to work. Love being here. You're all such good people. You can see that in the podcasts. Bye. Bye, Mako. Thanks for dropping by. Obviously, you can catch the rest when it comes up later. But yeah, so thank you very much, Mako. I will see you next time. Okay. I still have this comic sitting in front of me. It's just kind of sitting there, taking up space. Like a weirdo. Renegade, we'll definitely check out Happy Death Day 2 and Lighthouse. Also curious about... Oh, Us, of course. Us. How could I not mention Us? Jordan Peele's next film after Get Out. Makes a lot of sense. No, look forward to that. I'm looking forward to Glass, which is not a horror movie, but Glass is the first movie that I'm pumped for in 2019. I love Unbreakable. Unbreakable is a favourite. And... Split was pretty good, so I'm really looking forward to Glass. AFJ, it took me 2 seasons to understand the show Rab C. Nesbitt. Once my ears had tuned in, got at least 90% of what was said. Adds sarcastically. Rab C. Nesbitt is a very strong Scottish thing, though. That is a very fair complaint. I don't know if you've tried to watch Still Game, which is a more modern Scottish sitcom, but I think that one's easier to get. That one's is a lot less difficult. Electric Mickey, welcome to the stream. What time is the final Travellers review coming out? It will be in a couple hours' time. It will be basically whenever I finish streaming, I will go and put it up. That's basically when it's coming. But it's coming today. So be excited. Was good. Just to the review. I was mentioning. I went. The episode was good. I was not saying the review was good. Although hopefully you think the review is also good. But I'm not vain enough to announce that. So I should probably make a new overlay without the current topic part, because we're not really using the current topic at all. It's just kind of sitting there empty. I guess I was expecting more sections when I first thought of this, and it's just kind of a free for all, which is fine. Free for all is great. No problem with that. Glass looks awesome, Renegade. It does indeed. I hope it lives up to at least half of my expectations. So yeah. RS. I have a theory on how Wally could be brought back to life. I'm going to read this not out loud because this feels like it's getting spoilery for people who have not watched Young Justice. Oh, not even Young Justice. This is comics stuff. Okay, all right. I see what you're saying. I'm going to not go into that just because it does feel like super spoiler stuff. But yes, I actually think everything that's going on could technically just be erased by some easy explanations. But we'll see. Sean, what comic got you interested in comics? Yeah. Don't worry, RS, I'm way ahead of you. I figured out you were talking about comics when I got to the second part. Yeah, so Sean, what comic got you interested in comics? You read comics when you were a kid, but stopped at some point, and then read Hush about 45 years later, and now own hundreds, maybe thousands of comics. Actually, I mean, it wasn't really a comic book per se. It was Batman Begins. I had never touched a comic as a kid. It was just not something that I don't think I was really aware of them. I mean, I knew what a comic book was, but I wasn't like something like I was into a lot of nerdy stuff as a kid, but not comic books. And it's the sort of thing where had my parents ever bought me a comic, I'm sure I would have gotten into them, and I would have been, buried in comics forever. But I wasn't. And it was actually Batman Begins. I remember not really being that attached anymore to a lot of superheroes at that point. But I liked Batman as a kid, so I thought I'll go see Batman Begins, and was blown away with how good that movie was. I was blown away with how it took the character seriously, how it treated it like it was a real part of mythology, and it made me understand superheroes in a way that I don't think I did before that point. And I was 16 when that came out, for the record. So I actually went and ordered Batman Year One, like within a couple of days of seeing that. I was like, okay, what's a Batman comic to start with? So I got Year One. And it's kind of started slowly from there. I enjoyed that well enough. I wasn't like buying comics constantly from there though. I'm trying to think what the comic was that maybe like started like steamrolling it a little bit quicker. I'm trying to think. Because I read Long Halloween, which was really good, and I started reading some Superman. I don't know if there was like one specific comic that kind of got me more regular connecting. It was just a very gradual thing over a couple of years. I think it was maybe like 2008 where I started to be like, okay, I want to actually read runs of comics in order, and I started buying trades. Like, I never bought a single issue until the New 52. I was completely trades, and by the time I got to that though, I was buying like trades as a series though. I was paying attention to what was coming out, and I was buying, John's Green Lantern run as they were coming out. I was buying Morrison's Batman stuff as it was coming out in trade. Like I was like buying it as it was coming out, so I was regularly reading comics. But it was New 52 where I said, you know what, I'm going to jump into single issues, and I've kind of been there since. It took a while to get used to single issues. Remembering what happened in the last issue took a while to like sink in, because I was like, oh shit, I'm reading like 20 comics a month. How am I meant to remember what happened in the last one? So that took some adjusting to, but here we are now. Here we are now, and I am reading way more than 20 a month now. Between the two podcasts now, I'm probably closer to like 35. Did I see Bad Samaritan, Renegade? I have not seen Bad Samaritan. See, so it's not bad though. Maybe I'll check it out at some point. RS, considering the DC basically had retconned all of New 52 Wonder Woman and most of New 52 Superman, do you think the next writer will hit the reset button if Bendis aging up John backfires? It's possible. It depends kind of where it leaves off. It depends if there's not a twist as well. Like, what if this isn't really John? What if this is a robot? What if this is someone impersonating John? What if whatever? Like, I have no idea. But I mean, it could be. I mean, the aged up John might end up not being bad in the long run. It's really hard to take right now because it's like, we like John though. We like young John. So we'll see how it goes. But things get retconned in comics all the time. So if people end up hating it, totally, yeah, it could get retconned. How they explain him getting young again is is kind of hard to justify. I could see it being a thing where they kind of retcon his personality maybe, but not actually de-age him again. Because that's kind of weird to do that. But that's a good question. Blackest Night was the comic that got you reading. New 52 started buying singles as well. Yeah, honestly, actually, you know what? Blackest Night's a good one to say, because I think Blackest Night technically might actually be the comic you were looking for as an answer, because I think Blackest Night was the first ever event that I read. Because I think I read that before I read a lot of Johns's Green Lantern. I think it was after that book that I said, I want to go back and read this run. I want to know how this built to this. And I think that was like a big deal, because I think Blackest Night was the comic book where I said, I don't just care about Batman and Superman, I care about the DC universe. I care about most of these characters. I want to know more about this Atom fellow, this Firestorm, You know, there's references in that to the Flash and Green Lantern having come back to life after being gone for a while. I'm like, okay, what happened to the Flash? Barry came back? So this Wally fellow, before then, what's he like? Like, you know, and it set me down that path. Because I think up until Blackest Night, I was reading Batman trades, Superman trades. I think Blackest Night was kind of like a... almost like a risky, like, oh, this isn't a Batman or a Superman thing. It's got this Green Lantern dude in the front. What's that like? And I think it was that, actually, now I'm thinking about it, that got me reading DC Comics as a whole. Yeah. That's an answer. Renegade. I saw I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives Down in the House. It was one of the worst movies ever. Literally nothing happens. That's on my to-watch list. I'm hoping that I like it more than what you just said. It's one of those ones that's been sitting on streaming services for like ever, and I keep meaning to watch it. It'll probably be a Streams episode at some point, but yeah, haven't seen it yet. RS, Blackest Night would be perfect for an Injustice 3, considering how many people died in that universe. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Hell, I could see Blackest Night being one of the Elseworlds, not Elseworlds, one of the crossovers. Outside of the fact that we don't have a Green Lantern. We need a Green Lantern first, but if we get a Green Lantern, like, think of all the characters we could have back as a cameo and, like, a crossover, because, yeah, I could see that. Same with you, Brana. Blackest Night got you into the DC universe as a whole. Which is interesting, because I think Marvel events have had almost the opposite effect. Almost every Marvel event's made me want to stop reading Marvel comics. I just don't care about the events as much in Marvel for some reason. Whereas with DC, I'm like, oh my god, the implications of all this. And I don't know what they're doing differently. They're less frequent, which is nice. But other than that, I'm not sure what's different about them. But for some reason, DC's events like intrigue me and make me excited about like all the characters. Marvel's is like, stop interfering with my books. Don't interfere all the books I like. Stop it. Renegade. I did also get to see Train to Busan. Excellent movie, best zombie movie. Train to Busan is fantastic. Train to Busan is one of the best zombie movies. I agree. I'm not going to say it's the best, but it is definitely in the easily in the top 10. Top 10 discussions by far. If you don't know what Train to Busan is, it's a Korean zombie movie from 2016. Me and Tim did review it on Streams After Midnight, should you wish to go find that. But really good stuff. It's really inventive with how it plays with the fact that it's mostly set on a train. It gives it this direction, literally because the train's moving, but it gives it this kind of like, they've got a goal to get somewhere, and it gives it like a direction in the script that I really like. Forever Evil was also exciting for your first single issue event. Yeah, it was, because I think with Blackest Night, the second time I read it, when I'd read through all the Green Lantern run, I did like intersperse the Green Lantern issues with Blackest Night, and it was a really fun experience doing that. I've not read all of the Blackest Night minis that came out or anything like that. Maybe I will one day. But Forever Evil, I never read all the minis because some of them weren't that interesting, but I was reading Justice League and I was reading Justice League of America, both of which had pretty good tie-in issues, because Justice League had all those stories about the origins of the crime syndicate, and then Justice League of America had that Stargirl story, and I kind of dug both of those, and I thought they tied into the event really well. RS, what if Injustice did a story with the crime syndicate only Ultraman has turned good? Yeah, that's interesting, actually. Like what would the event be that makes Ultraman turn good? Like, what is the counterpoint? You know, if Superman went evil because the Joker made him kill Lois when she was pregnant, what is the event that makes Ultraman... What does good Joker do to convince Ultraman to become good? Because it has to be good Joker from Earth 3, right? Just to make it like perfectly symmetrical on both sides. But that's an idea. There's an irony to that. AFJ, are you looking forward to the Picard Star Trek spin-off series? What do I think? Yeah, no, I'm intrigued by that. I like Patrick Stewart, and it's kind of exciting that we're getting a Star Trek show that's not based around the original series. I think I complained about this before, that it felt like the new movies, Star Trek Discovery, even like the other prequel series, the Khan miniseries we're supposed to be getting at some point, all of it feels obsessed with revolving around the original series, and it's like, you had all this other stuff that came after, why not continue some of that? So I'm actually kind of glad that we're getting like a post-next gen kind of continuation of some kind. So yeah, I'm hopeful. Hopefully it's good. Renegade. If you're looking for a decent horror foreign horror movie, Cold Prey is pretty good. Yeah, that's been on my radar for a while. Cold Prey. It's one of those ones that I think it was streaming at some point somewhere, and then I missed it because it went away. No doubt it'll be a Screams episode at some point. William, X-Men animated show on Saturday mornings is what got me into comics as a kid. Damn, I'm getting old. Yeah, I never saw the X-Men cartoon as a kid, or the Spider-Man one. I grew up in Batman animated series and Superman movies. Renegade, sorry I don't talk about comics, I don't read any. That's cool, Renegade. That's alright. We have equal content of comics, movies, TV shows, and not video games. Video games is much smaller, but you know, it's fine. You could talk about whatever. Cat farts are the worst. They're rare. Like, I have 3 cats, and I feel like I smell a fart like maybe like once every 5 months. So it's nice and spread out. So, but yes, they are quite bad when they happen. They are quite bad. And Renegade, don't feel bad if everyone else is talking about comics and you're like, I want to talk about horror movies. Talk about horror movies. Every time I get to you, I will shift to horror movies. It's fine. Everyone can share. There's plenty of purity going around. And that right, Firefly. How come you're not asleep? The other 2 cats are asleep. They're quite happy. And you're just at my feet wanting attention. Like, you're annoyed that I'm not... Oh, he's jumping up. Look at this. Yes. Cat, let's reenact the Mutant Enemy logo from the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Grr. Arg. That has been a reenactment of Mutant Enemy. Go down. So, yes, where are we? RS, maybe good Joker saves Ultraman and Superwoman's son after Owlman or Lex tried to kill him before he grew up. Yeah, I mean, why not? I think there's an interesting symmetry to that proposition, that the crime syndicate show up, but Superman, or Ultraman specifically, is good. And does bad Superman join up with the crime syndicate? You could do that. I mean, I don't love like evil Superman as a thing, but Injustice has kind of just done its own thing and ran with it, and it's like, yeah, they wanted to justify why all the heroes were fighting, even though I don't think you have to in a fighting game. You could just, that's a fighting game, whatever. They're in a simulator practicing. That's all. Fine. Boana, we have room for farts, comics, cats, TV, and more. The range is up to us. That is true. That is true. Cats are a big part, actually. Cats are an important part of the Mild Fuzz. In fact, the fuzz in Mild Fuzz is, let's be honest, is the fur balls and the cat hair that gets everywhere. That's just the honest truth of the matter. Oh, every so often Chrome will stop scrolling for me with the scroll wheel, and I have to like move up and down. Our average viewers is higher than last week a little bit, actually, so thank to everyone who's here. And if anyone's here who's not talking, because, I don't know, maybe you're not a chatter, you feel nervous about talking or whatever, that's cool. I'm not going to force you. It's fine if you're just here to listen, and that's cool. But thank you for being here. You are also appreciated. But if you do want to work up the courage and ask a question or whatever, by all means, feel free. Favorite place that makes French fries, and then specifies not chips. Hold on, Buana, where are you from? Just before I answer this, because I'm not sure if you're specifying the difference between a French fry and a thick oven chip, or if you're specifying not what we would call crisps. I'm confused. Renegade has 3 cats. That's cool. And loves Wendy's. Also cool, I guess. I'm not a big French fry guy, actually. I prefer oven fry. No, What's the American word for them? Steak fries. I think steak fries is what you call thick chips. Don't know. I don't really have a favourite. I'm not a big fan of like fries at most fast food places. Actually, I don't really usually bother getting them because I'm weird. Cat, stop staring at me. What are you doing? You little weirdo. That's a weird little cat at times, that Firefly. I mean, the other two sometimes want attention and they'll come up and like demand attention, but Firefly seems to just kind of casually always want attention at any given time. And now he's walking away in a huff. Sorry, cat. Sorry, cat. Yeah, I have no hard exit time this week, I don't think. Where's my phone here in case I get a message. Basically, until Connor tells us that we're recording something tonight, I don't have to leave. So I'll basically go until I'm hungry. is the thing. AFJ, worst series 2018 was Future Man for you. What was yours? That's a weird question because typically we just quit shows that we don't like. But worst show for me, I mean, in terms of a pilot, I really didn't like Little Drummer Girl. And that's a specific one because people like that show. I really did not like it. It was not to my taste. In terms of like worst show that I watched the whole season of, I mean, Arrow season 6 is a pretty good candidate. If not that, then yeah, sure, like Flash season 4, like, you know, like those shows tend to be in the lower end of my viewing. I don't think there was anything that I watched all the way through that was like, oh no, wait, hold on, there was some disappointing stuff. Like Legion got disappointing at the end of season 2. That's true. I feel there was another show that was like a one season thing that we were really disappointed in by the end of it, but I can't remember what it was now. Buana, right now just your funny silly lingo, steak fries. Yes, they are fries, so yeah, you answered it, oven baked steak fries, cool. Yeah, okay, yeah, basically, yeah, those ones, but big, thick, proper ones. I like them well done though, so I like them kind of crispy on the outside, but I like thick enough that they're still proper potato inside. Is basically the thing. Reggae, you said It Watches is the worst horror movie you've ever seen. I dare you to watch Kiss the Girls Goodbye. I will take Truth instead. Thank you very much. I'm okay. Never heard of it. I sound like I'm probably better off for that. Wingstop has had such a good seasoning for the fries that they are good when they get cold. Oh, I don't know about that, William. Cold fries is not my bag. I can't do it. SNL is the worst show on TV, Buana. I didn't really watch SNL. I never really have. It's the sort of thing where every so often they'll have one good little sketch and that'll go viral because it was quite funny. But for the most part, yeah, they're not that funny. Renegade, we have a place here called The Nugget that has great fries. I assume they do chicken nuggets. If they don't do chicken nuggets, if that's not the main thing on their menu, then they've misnamed their restaurant. Alright, so if Injustice does another crossover, what would you want it to be with? So, what do you mean? Like how the last game had Hellboy and Turtles in it? Is that what you mean here? Power Rangers is not a bad choice though. Power Rangers mixes very well with DC, I think, for fun. But unlike Batman, the Rangers are willing to kill and would not hesitate to shoot Clark with a power blaster. It's wacky, I'll give it that. Oh, now Wesker's up. What's Wesker wanting? Oh god, no. Been infested with cats. Sean, what is your favourite film? Oh my god, that is such a hard question. I feel like that's spoiling the eventual top 100 movies list, but I feel like my answer typically will probably be Aliens. Mainly because I feel like Aliens like has so many of the main things that I like in movies. But I don't like picking a favourite. Even though if I do a list, there has to be a number one. Just in the sense that, because at least with a list, I'm like, well, I gave you 100. You've got a good sense of my taste, and I've represented a lot of films. Picking just one or like five is like a nightmare. That's the point. Cold fries are usually terrible unless they're from Wingstop. I'll take your word for it, but I'm not one of these people who likes cold pizza. If I have pizza that's left over, it's getting thrown in the microwave. Needs to be warm. Renegade, the Nugget does everything, but they're known for a burger called the Awful Awful. I can't say I think much of that name, if I'm honest. The Awful Awful. But I had a crush on the Pink Ranger as a kid. Well, so did I. I think every person of a certain age who was grown up in the 90s probably had a crush on the Pink Ranger. And if it wasn't the Pink Ranger, it was probably the Green Ranger, depending on which way you were swinging. Maybe both. But no, I think the Pink Ranger for many a person my age is their first crush. Certainly is mine. So yeah. RS, I read the comics like He-Man. Oh, you mean the comics like He-Man? Okay. I haven't read that. I haven't read the Injustice comics actually at all in general. I didn't even know they did crossovers. That's kind of interesting. Here's the thing. I've never seen He-Man. He-Man was not a big thing for me when I was growing up. I never saw an episode of it. Microwave old pizza, nah, it's all about the low heat in the oven. Yeah, oven takes longer though. Microwave, like a slice of pizza is like 30 seconds and it's good to go. I can do it. It depends where you get the pizza from. Some pizza places some pizza is more durable for a microwave and some isn't. It means that the burger is awful big and awful good. You usually just get a grilled cheese sandwich. You get a grilled cheese sandwich at a restaurant? That feels so weird to me. I feel like a grilled cheese sandwich is something you have when there's nothing else to have in the house. So that just strikes me as weird. But fair enough. Maybe they do a fancy grilled cheese sandwich. They do like fancy like seasoning and sauces and stuff like that to make it a bit more exotic. RS, what if the Batman Who Laughs was somehow cured? Do you think there would be any coming back from what he has done? That's interesting. How does a Batman who's at crossed the line deal with it? How does he like? Can he find redemption, and how does he reevaluate his own morals based on the fact that he's had to come back from what he's done? There's story potential in that, if they wanted to do that. I would like to think it could be a hopeful story where he can somehow find his way back. And that would be like an examination of the character of Batman in general, because it would be like, okay, if he ever did cross that line, how does he come back from it? It kind of reminds me of Angel on the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The idea of him being Angelus, but then getting his soul and having all these memories of everything that he did, but now having to like deal with that. You know, definitely get a simple, a good story out of that. Buana, grilled cheese is a staple in my life. Grilled cheese is okay. I'm not a big grilled cheese guy. For whatever reason, I've just never been in love with it. It's okay. Yeah, grilled cheese is not exotic at all anywhere, I don't think. Grilled cheese is like basic. Grilled cheese is just like what you can do quickly if you have nothing else, is basically my attitude on it. But hey, if you love grilled cheese, love grilled cheese. I ain't taking your grilled cheese away from you. Knock yourselves out. Renegade, they make it pretty cheesy, but you've just loved it for some reason. RS, what would a dark multiverse version of Batman Beyond be like? Maybe Phantasm did go through with the killing of Terry's parents. Yeah, that would make some sense. It depends. It depends what way you want to go with it. There's a lot of different things you could do. Like, you go down a dark origin, or do you do something like Batman Who Laughs, where it's more that he is Batman, but then he becomes a villainous Batman. Because all those Dark Knights Metal Batmen all ended up their evil selves in different ways. They all had some tragedy, and it tended to be losing someone. So maybe Terry loses his brother, maybe he loses his love interest, whoever. But I imagine he would lose someone, and that would be what triggers it. What's all this cheese praising going on? Thanks, Sean, for being around. I'll see you next week. It'll be Monday next week, remember. But yeah, thanks for showing up, keeping us company. Average view duration? That's shocking. Who are all you people who are showing up and leaving? Well, I guess Sean technically just left, but he was here for ages. He's not dragging that duration down. Oh dear. Oh, Wesker, do you want a cameo? You don't get to see Wesker as much because he doesn't jump up on me when I'm recording. There we go. Hey guys. He's look at him. Yes. There's a good cat. My Phoenix. My bat cat. My stealthy cat. Did we ever review the Babadook? I think we did. Yeah, I think we did Babadook. I remember Tim complaining that the kid was annoying. So I think we did. I'm pretty sure we did. Pretty sure we did Babadook. RS, maybe Bruce dies early in his career, and without him to guide him, Terry life falls apart. Yeah, maybe he doesn't get the training from Batman. Yeah, that's a way you could do a dark Terry, is that he goes down like a really dark path because there's no one to like show him the way. Buana, can you do a top 5 Seinfeld episode? Oh, probably not off the top of my head. I'd have to think about it. I actually started rewatching it a couple of years ago, and then I never quite finished it. I got to like season 4 or something like that, and got sidetracked. I'd have to rewatch it again before I could do a top 5, I think. Obviously, I mean, everyone remembers the bet and the soup, or the soup Nazi rather, and I like season 4 a lot because season 4 had that ongoing plot of like making the TV show. I like that stuff quite a bit. AFJ, by the way, Star Trek TNG gets better by season 2, not just a nod to Connor from the recent review. Season 1 actually looks better in many scenes. Okay, interesting. I'm looking forward to it getting better. I know it gets better, so I'm looking forward to it. So they start using miniatures later on, so it doesn't necessarily look as good. Interesting. Renegade. Wesker looks like he's a kitty. He's so cute. He's just as big as Firefly. He's not any smaller. And Firefly and Wesker are actually brothers. They actually came from the same litter. So they're very similar in size, but very different. I think Wesker's wanting out of the room. I'm going to let him out. Firefly ran out as well. They're off to go do things. Cat business. Johnny on the spot. Have you seen Beyond the Black Rainbow? I just got around to seeing it, to seeing Mandy, and I'm hyped to watch Beyond the Black Rainbow for the first time. Yeah, same director. Yes, I have seen Beyond the Black Rainbow. I was championing that film years ago because I thought it was amazing, even though most people I've showed it to hate it with a passion. I love Beyond the Black Rainbow. It's just weird and psychedelic and delightful. There's no review of it. This was before we started reviewing anything, but I really like Beyond the Black Rainbow. Um, what was this? But yeah, I've tried to get you viewers with my great idea, like the hit television show. Bleep, dear review numbers, man. Or search numbers, I think you might say. Okay. I'm bleeping that. I'm censoring that show title. I'm not saying it. Get Rewatching with Connor. That's a great show. Seinfeld. Yeah, we don't really review sitcoms because we find that we don't really have a whole lot to say about them beyond just repeating the jokes. So we sometimes do pilots to see if they're worth checking out, but we don't really review them week to week because it's kind of difficult. We've tried in the past and it's just kind of weird. RS, how would you bring a version of the Legends into the comics? I would have them from the Dark Multiverse killing Barry Allens across the multiverse because their Barry never undid Flashpoint. I don't know if I'd go that extreme. The great thing about the Legends is that I don't really feel like they need to exist in the comics. I think like they get to exist as just a TV thing. But if we were going to do it, like you could have a good Legends comic. There's no reason why you couldn't. I would just assemble a team. I'd get the characters together. I don't know if you'd have the same characters as the show though, because like Sarah Lance is hardly like I feel like you'd get someone that's more known in the comics to replace her, but with a similar attitude. Like, do you get Huntress maybe to be the Sarah Lance of the comic? I don't know. Maybe you do. You could have Mick. You could have Heatwave, of course. Ray Palmer, sure. But no, yeah. I think you just put a good book together. Really, have a reason for them to get together, and go time traveling. Yeah, sitcoms are really hard to do. They're just too. There's usually not plot to really dig into, really. Garrus is still in the bed, just kind of chilling, not really caring about anything. Ever thought of reviewing Almost Human? Loved that show. It ended too soon. I think technically, on a previous version of a very, very old Almost Cancelled, we might have actually talked about Almost Human once or twice. But nah, the chances of us going back to something like that are very slim because it was just one season and because it ended before it, developed into a full-fledged show. So it's very unlikely we'll ever go back and do something like that. Typically, if we're going back to do an old show, it'll be something that's very, very well known, very critically acclaimed, has a lot to dive into in terms of discussion. You'd put Wally on the Comics Legend team, RS. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Well, especially since there doesn't seem to be a whole lot for him to do right now. Or recently, there hasn't been a whole lot for him to do outside of like Flash War. So I could see Wally on a team like that. Hell, throw Kyle Rayner on there. He tends to get ignored. It's just a good place to put your characters who are otherwise being forgotten into a team and have them go on an adventure. And that can work. I have cats scratching at doors now. I think Firefly and Wesker are demanding food. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm not going to finish the stream. I'm actually good to go for a little while longer. But I will go and feed the cats, and I will be back in a second. And I think what I can do, actually, I can do something fancy here to help make some monies, is I can actually put an ad on, I think. So I'm going to try and do that, and I'll be back after the ad. Ad insertion was successful. Wait, what? Oh, did I just put it in the non-live version? I thought it would play an ad. I thought I was going to be really fancy there and play an ad. I thought this is going to be really cool. I'll play an advert. I don't think so. I actually don't have it on. Do I? What? Let me. Oh well, doesn't matter. Right, sure. I'm sticking around just so you can tell me if there's an advert playing. I want to know if there's an advert playing. If not, I'll just put a BRB screen back up. But like, it's fine. Uh, dear. Um, yeah, I don't think there's an ad playing. I think is the ads not play? That sucks. I thought it would play an ad like live. Oh well. So there's going to be an ad in the live version there, which, to be fair, like it's long enough that I would put a couple of ads in it. I'll tell you my rules for putting ads in the middle of things when I come back. But I'll be back in a second. I'm going to go feed the cats because the poor cats want food. So I'll be back in a second. Hello, I'm back. Welcome back, everyone. Or welcome me back. I'm back. Those cats were hungry. They were chowing down on their food. Yeah, no ads. That sucks. I guess it's just in the. If you watch it later, there'll be an ad there, which is annoying because it's hard to like remember where it goes. So yeah, no, yeah, I'll give you some insight here actually, because I was terrified of putting ads in the middle of any of the videos, for a long time because I thought people would just hate it because I don't particularly like it that much either. Because some YouTubers will spam it and you'll open a video and there'll be those little yellow lines like all across the bar, and it's like, no, you're taking the piss. But we have some really long videos, so typically the rules that I operate by is that once it's getting close to an hour long, I'll put an ad in the middle. Like I'll put one in the middle. So if it's like 45 minutes or less, there won't be anything. There won't be anything in the middle. There'll just be one at the start and one at the end. If you stick around at the end. Um, um, but if it's getting close to an hour, I will put an ad in the middle. If it's getting over, basically double that. If it's getting like to the 145 to 2 hours range, I'll put in a second ad. So they'll both be at around a third each, in the middle. And then on the rare occasion we have a 3 hour thing, there'll be 3 ads in the middle. But the idea being that you always Testing. We're back. Yeah, we're back. I'm getting some levels. I've had a problem with one of my cables recently, although that's the first time it's happened without me hitting it. Like, usually when that happens, it's because I've tapped something, and it'll, like... I think the cable going to the mic is needing replaced. I actually have I found one that I've not tested yet, that I can try later. We're back, though. People are still telling me sound is gone, but we're back. Yeah, we're back. It's just the delay. Cool. I don't know how long I was gone there. How much of my ad get into the middle of video's speech did you get? I was waxing lyrically about it. I'm going to keep glancing over at the audio levels now just to make sure it's not gone. I don't even need to really do that. The light in the mic goes off if it's disconnected. But yes. So yeah, approaching 1 hour, 1 ad in the middle. Approaching 2 hours, 2 ads in the middle. Approaching 3 hours, 3 ads in the middle. That's the rule. You got most of it, cool. Did I hit the mic arm, maybe? And I didn't realise it? Maybe I did. If events of Kingdom Come, specifically Joker getting gas in the Daily Planet, happened, how do you think John would handle his mother's death? You're hitting with the dark questions tonight, RS. I'm just going to open the door slightly because the cat's wanting in. Damn cats. They insist on getting out and then they complain that they're locked out, so it's really annoying. I mean, jeez. I mean, I think would the idea be have a dark story where John goes down a dark path because his mother's been killed, or is it about him dealing with grief and loss in a way that he hasn't before? I don't know. Devious99, welcome to the stream. Excited for Velvet Buzzsaw out in a month. Actually, now that you've told me it's Dan Gilroy, I guess I am. But I wasn't familiar with what it was immediately. That stupid Firefly pushed the door wide open and then didn't even come in. He just pushed it open, looked at me, and then walked back out. I'm going to ignore him. You can't make eye contact. Yeah, you have to ignore him until he walks in far enough that you can shut the door and he'll stop being a pest. Firefly. Anyway, did you guys see Cargo? I think Connor. Did Connor watch it? I think Connor watched it. Tim might have watched it as well, actually. I did not, but I think some of the guys watched it. Just what if John existed in the Kingdom Come universe? That's an interesting question, because obviously we have old Clark, we have old everyone in that story. You know, what changes about it if John's around? A good question. I need to reread Kingdom Come. It's been a while. It's been a good close to a decade since I've read that. Velvet Buzzsaw plot. After a series of paintings by an unknown artist are discovered, a supernatural force enacts revenge on those who have allowed their greed to get in the way of art. Okay, interesting. Dragonflies are that big in Ireland? What? I have no idea. I've never been to Ireland. I am not aware that they have big dragonflies. So it's art world horror satire. That is an interesting combination. I had to race Firefly at the door because he came in and then he was going to run back out. And he's been fed, so I know he's been fed. He's being a dick about it now. Oh, Connor's here. Jeez. Wild Connor appears. I assume that means we're recording something tonight since you're back at this time. Where was I? Netflix isn't promoting it at the moment, even though it's out February 1st. Oh, that makes me worry. That makes me worry that Netflix are shitting it out because they don't think it's that good. Because Netflix have shut out a lot of films. You thought we were Irish, Serenity? Neither of us are Irish. One of us is Scottish and one of us is English. Connor's English. Peter, have you forced Connor to watch any of Guy Madden's films? No, I don't think I've seen any of Guy Madden's films, honestly. So, no, I've not forced him to watch any. By the way, are you be watching Escape from that? Do you know, a few people have asked us about that. That's the show that we kind of missed, but we saw. Sam Esmail was tweeting about it. It's the Showtime show about a prison break, right? It's getting very good reviews. There's no plans right now because we've kind of missed the boat. I won't say never though. Renegade, stop ratting me out of Connor. Connor's walking home. Oh, so you're not home yet. That's cool. No rush to end the stream then. We're good for a while, folks. I'll get comfortable. And Board Now's here. This is like the second shift. A few people left who were here at the start, and now there's wave 2 coming in. Hey, Garrus. Do you want a cameo, Garrus? You're the only cat who's not been on camera yet. I don't think he's interested. Oh dear. Do you know, these streams go on really quick. I have no idea what I've been talking about for 2 hours. I know I've been talking constantly, but you know. No rush unless you haven't watched Doctor Who yet, in which case chop chop. I have watched Doctor Who. I get that done earlier. I was very smart and said, "No what? No, I want this stream to not have a harsh deadline." I got Doctor Who out of the way. We're good. DV's another film I'm excited for based on the cast and crew is Knives Out. Yeah, that's the Rian Johnson one, right? Which has I want to say Daniel Craig and. But I can't remember the cast off the top of my head, but I remember it having an impressive cast. It's like a murder mystery style movie. Hey, Board Now. We've been talking about everything, yeah. Yes, it's been Connor. It's been two delightful hours. People have been ecstatic. Yeah, awful ginger. Actually, I'll tell everyone about someone who got your name wrong in the chat. Not in the chat, in one of the comments on one of the reviews. So someone disagreed with me and said that Connor was right about something, but they said that Colin was right and that I was being pedantic. So I responded to it by saying, "Yeah, I agree. Colin makes some really good points." How dare you, Board Now, watching other things when there's live streaming going on? Luckily for you, we're going into overtime. Yeah. I'm not even sure what Renegade's saying "oh my god" to be honest. Because of the delay, I don't know what I said that was worth that 20 seconds ago. Did we see Bird Box, and did it really deserve the huge hype it got online? Haven't seen it yet, but I doubt it already. No, I don't think any of us have seen Bird Box yet. I think Tim might have watched it before he went to Hong Kong, but I have not seen it yet myself. I thought the premise was interesting, but the trailer wasn't that good. So, I could go either way. There's been some funny memes about it, though. I saw a funny meme about. Of course, they didn't see the monster, and the image had like Drax photoshopped in it because, of course, as you know, he's been practicing his invisibility. Uh, you have a man crush on Elba. I know, bored. Come on. Uh, Carter being called Colin found it funny. Yeah, it was pretty amusing. It was pretty amusing because it was someone who was like really specifically trying to like tell me off for being pedantic, but they called him Colin, so I just found it really funny. Um, Trailer revealed too much. The trailer did reveal too much, but it also at the same time did a really bad job of explaining what the premise was. Like it took so long to get to the point where I understood what the premise of the film was from the trailer. Renegade, your name is Megan, but you were once called Amber. How does someone mistake Megan for Amber? They only share like two letters, and they're not even remotely in the same place. Yeah, Aquaman's doing well. Aquaman's making a boatload of cash, one might say. Uh, so yeah, Aquaman 2 is a pretty much a sure bet at this point, which is nice. Yeah, I feel there's a trend board now, right, with like directors who are typically very good making movies for Netflix, and then the movies they make for Netflix sucking. It's weird. There's this weird trend happening. I think people are just dumb. uh, I'm all for the water and fish puns. I'm all for it. All for it. Actually, something that we not mentioned actually is the next influx, 121 influx, will be a countdown because the countdown was supposed to be at the end of December, and we forgot about it. So the next two influx, the movies we had planned are getting pushed back, and we're doing the top 50 movies of the 1980s. So we're recording the first one of those next week, I think. So you can look forward to that and get your 80s list ready. Pete, did I see Bumblebee? I've not yet. I think I'm seeing it tomorrow. And Matt's seen it, so I think we'll be doing a review of that at the weekend. I think, unless Matt has secret agent business that he has to attend to that I'm not aware of. But I think so. Yeah, yeah. Countdowns are fun. I like doing countdowns. We're going to run out of themes for them though eventually, but for now I'm enjoying the countdowns. Um, Devious, did you like Roman J. Israel Esquire? I recently watched it and think it's criminally underrated. I haven't seen it. Uh, it's very it's becoming apparent to me. I think I've only seen one Dan Gilroy movie. Yeah, just the 80s in general. This is in flux, so it's not like a specific genre. It's just top 50 of the 80s. Serenity, if we finish doing all the decades for movies, will we ever circle back and do countdowns for TV shows? I don't know if we'll do countdowns for like decades of TV shows. One of the goals in Patreon is a top 50 TV shows countdown. So that'll come eventually. There could be other TV show countdowns though. I mean, I think we'll probably get more inventive with them at some point and do things like I don't know, top 50 characters maybe, or top 50 this, top 50 that. Um, we'll have to brainstorm them and think of what we can do with them. But yeah. So there will be TV ones at some point. I don't know necessarily what they'll all be as of yet. Devious, what are your thoughts on Once Upon a Time in America? You just watched it earlier and was very let down by it. Don't understand why it's such a classic. It's definitely my least favourite of Leone's films because I love Once Upon a Time in the West. I love the Man with No Name trilogy. Fistful of Dynamite's pretty fun, although it's definitely weaker than the rest. I think it isn't bad. It is definitely a really long watch. So I didn't necessarily have any disdain for it, but it's definitely the weakest out of his films. I think out of the six the six big movies that he made. Once Upon a Time in the West is so good though. Borna, if there's no more Twin Peaks, would you like to see an Audrey spin-off, which was once planned and became Mulholland Drive? If it's David Lynch, sure. If it's anyone else, no. If David Lynch wants to make something, if he's got an idea and he's passionate about it, then he can do it, and I'll watch it. Giving it to someone else, it's not impossible it could work, but I have to assume that 99.99999% of creators would not match what David Lynch can do and make it feel authentically linked to it. But yeah, that's kind of how it is. Renegade, you saw The Snowman. It needs to be seen. It's so bad, it's insane. Yeah, that got a lot of terrible reviews. So much so we didn't even consider trying to review it. It was like, nah, we get better things to do with our time. RS, do you think Barbara Gordon will appear in the Batwoman show at some point? Do you think she'll be Oracle? That would be cool. I think it's kind of ruined a little bit by the fact that they basically made Felicity Oracle. They didn't call her that. They cracked a joke about it. So that'd be the upsetting part of it. So I wouldn't expect it. If anything, I'd expect what's her face? Alfred's niece or daughter. Penny 2. That's her code name, Penny 2. It's well since I've read Batwoman, but she became kind of like her person on the computer who was on missions with her. So I could see her being a character maybe. Yeah, it'd have to be Lynch, I agree. It'd have to be Lynch for any kind of Twin Peaks spin-off. Obviously, we had the new show today, Elsewhere in the Multiverse. Hopefully some of you enjoy that. If you care about comics, that is. Obviously, Renegade, you don't like comics, that's okay. It doesn't matter. But for everyone who does like comics, hopefully you get some fun out of that. What else we got coming up that I can tell you about? Because there's no other big new shows planned. Don't get me wrong. I'm not teasing anything like that. Julia Pennyworth. That's it. I knew it was a J. I couldn't remember what her first name was. Bored now. Which is your favorite seasons of Buffy and Angel? It's either season 3 or 5 of Buffy. I go back and forth. Angel. You've picked season 2. Maybe season 2 of Angel as well, but it's a really interesting comparative. I think I'll have maybe new thoughts on this when I've rewatched them all again for the commentaries, and I can experience them all again, because it's been a while, and I think I'll appreciate certain things I didn't before. Maybe some things will have aged a little bit, so I'm looking forward to that. Renegade like Buffy until Dawn came in. Dawn was the dawn of the bad episodes. I'm sorry, that was a bad joke. RS, if Felicity turns evil, maybe Oliver not telling her he was destined to die for a whole year twisted her to the point where that in order to get him back, she tried to destroy Star City after his death. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what makes Felicity go evil. I don't care. I just want them to quickly kill her off, please. Less of her. I don't care if it leaves open ends. Just be done with it. Devious, you're late to the stream, so you probably said it before, but what is your guys' most anticipated film of the year, if you have one? I think there was already a lot to be excited about. Well, I was asked for about horror movies earlier, but not in general, I don't think. Glass is the first movie I'm excited for. In terms of other things, I'm really excited for Godzilla King of the Monsters. I'm excited for The Lighthouse, which is the horror movie coming from the Witch director. Happy Death Day 2, I'm looking forward to. I think obviously, Avengers Endgame is something to look forward to as well. And Shazam, because I'm a DC guy. I don't. I feel like some of the better films of the year tend to be the ones that I don't know about until close to the time. So, hard to predict much else right now, outside of the big blockbusters and stuff that always have tons of release dates. But yeah. Yeah, Dawn's plot is good. Like once it gets going, like it's a big deal, and what comes from it's very good. Yeah. So Serenity, if you become a patron, you could fix the travesty of us not being engulfed in the world of the X-Men. You mean? Well, we're reading Uncanny X-Men. What do you mean? You'd want to make us read something else? I don't know what X book you were thinking of. But yeah, I mean, there's a tier where you could make me or Connor read one book a month, if you really want to. I am not looking forward to Star Wars 9, Connor. Shut up. Da, 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 da. And there's a lot of cool teases in Buffy for Dawn showing up. There's like hints in prior seasons that tease that something is coming. And when you watch Buffy again, you see all these little hints. The most obvious one being in the season 4 finale where Tara says, you have to be ready before dawn. And it worked in the original viewing because it just sounds like she's saying dawn as in the time of day. But, nope, it was a pun. We were talking about Dawn the Key. I'm the key master. Are you the gatekeeper? Da 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 da. Oh, you'd make us read old stuff. Start from the beginning and work your way up. I've got the Uncanny X-Men Masterworks. I've got them ready to go. Should that be your choice? Bored now. I think Star Wars will be all downhill from here. Don't see them improving on the recent films. I mean, yeah. I'll concur with that. Renegade, looking forward to Avengers, but we'll probably cry. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it might be good. Okay, you read the first issue of Mr. and Mrs. X last night. An episode of your X-Men comes from the movies. Holy shit, there's some family connections I literally had no idea about. You don't want to say them in case I don't know about them. Okay, I'll read that soon, and I'll find out about them. Serenity, you want us to be immersed, and I've read every single X-Men comic ever published. That's a lot of X-Men books. I'm sure there's a mini-series somewhere that you skipped. I'm willing to find it. Board Now loves Restless as a Buffy episode. Yeah, I think I appreciate it a lot more rewatching the show now because it's not like the end of the season anymore. Well, I mean, it is the end of the season, but it doesn't matter now because you can just watch season 5 right away. It's Restless is a fun one. I often quote I wear the cheese does not wear me, which is a fantastic line of dialogue from that thing. Where am I on these comments? Shut up about Clone Wars, Connor, please. And you'd make me read 60s X-Men. That's cool. I wouldn't necessarily hate reading that. Addy Cardiac. Adi, sorry, if I mispronounced your name, sorry. Welcome to the stream. Have you seen Roma on Netflix? I have not yet, but I will definitely be watching it. That'll be one that I definitely catch up on before we do our 2018 top 10s and awards in February. I'll definitely be watching Roma because it's what's his face? Oh god, the director's name just went out of my head. Alfonso Cuarón. There we go. Took me a second. But I loved Gravity. Children of Men's very good. The trailer looked great as well. Oh, you loved Hush. Yeah, that was a good episode. Season 4 is a bit of a weird season, but it does have some great standalone episodes in it, and Hush is a really fun one. It's a high concept episode, which I like. It's nice to see some positive buzz about Roma because, like I say, Netflix have got a pretty bad track record with their movies, so I'm glad to see that it's getting a lot of praise. I'm looking forward to watching it. Connor, stop talking about Star Wars. Star Wars is banned, right? If it's banned from the chat, I'm putting my foot down. It's that Buana's fault. But yeah, looking forward to watching Roma. Oh yeah, I remember that Serenity. Yeah, Marvel had those complete series CD-ROMs in the 2000s. I remember Spider-Man had one, and it was like 500 issues of Spider-Man on a disc. back before digital comics, you got Comixology and stuff like that. The monsters in Hush look like deranged Jim Carreys. Never thought of that, but yeah. I can literally just ban Connor from chat if I want to, so don't test my patience. I can put you in a timeout, I think. Let's see, what are the options? Put user in timeout. Oh, that's a great option. I don't want to click it because I kind of want to click it to see if there's like an option of how long it'll be, but I don't want to click it in case it's just a set time and Connor's like banned for half an hour. Speaking of Hush, isn't there supposed to be a Batman Hush animated film? Yeah, there is. There's a Hush animated film coming this year. It's one of the 4 that's coming this year. Cindy just saw Jacob's Ladder remake will be released next month. Next month? Jeez. Does that mean me and Tim have to do the original soon? Maybe it does. I don't know. Yeah, Reign of the Superman. We were talking about this earlier, Connor. Yeah, that's next. Well, it's the 15th. So, yeah, 2 weeks. DVs, did you hear about the film Thinking of Ending Things going to Netflix? Maybe look it up. It's promising with Brie Larson and that director. Yeah, no, I did hear about Thinking of Anything. I don't think I heard about it going to Netflix, but that's curious. Makes it easy to watch. I can't deny that. You love Jacob's Ladder. Serenity, those CD-ROMs are what made you get into digital. First Marvel, then Legion of Superheroes, and Catwoman. Yeah, by 2012 digital. I was all digital, I think, by about 2014. I think was when I kind of had made the switch and made that choice. I never saw Jacob's Ladder, Renegade Hero. I didn't love Jacob's Ladder. I thought it was a decent movie. A lot of people love it though. Borden now just said he loved it. So I mean, it does have its fans. I think for me, there's like a big twist in that movie that I kind of just felt I saw coming, and it didn't really work for me in the same way that I think it was supposed to. But you know, Devious bold prediction: Netflix is going to really make way better films in the future. This year we'll see that trend start. You may be right, Devious, because Connor was just telling me the other day that they declined the film. They declined that was it Holmes and Watson, the Will Ferrell movie. They actually were offered that and declined it, which maybe is a sign that they're actually starting to care about their quality. Joy of the Spot, yeah, Jacob's Ladder is amazing. Watch, rewatch, ASAP. It has been a while. Maybe I'll like it more this time. Maybe knowing what it is, I'll be into it. Yeah, that's the 4 movies: Serenity, Reign of Superman, Wonder Woman Bloodlines, JLAV's The Fatal Five, and Batman Hush. They do have a lot of debt, Connor, Netflix, but I'm not really that worried. They also have a ridiculous number of subscribers. I don't know. Maybe they'll turn it around. Roma is your film of 2018, Addy. Really blew your mind on lots of angles. Speaking of Netflix gems, Travelers is one halfway through season 3. Travelers is fantastic. Our review of the finale is going up after this stream, and we love that show. That was like such a surprise when it debuted a couple of years ago, and each season's been great. It keeps reinventing itself and playing with its ideas. It's so good. Great sci-fi show. Yeah, storage is a problem, Serenity, with comics. They pile up. Digital makes things really easy. Renegade heard Holmes and Watson is one of the worst movies ever made. I mean, I hated the trailer, but I mean, I hate Will Ferrell movies, so I mean, I'm not a great judge, but yeah, no one seems to be liking it. So, you know, I'm okay with that. People can hate it all they want. I'll get on that bandwagon. Oh god, even Board now agrees with me. That's a bad sign. It's a really bad sign. I'm hearing a cat in the distance wanting to get in. I'll leave the door ajar because he'll just kind of stare at me and then wander in at his own thing. Yeah, sir. I hate Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell. Stranger Than Fiction was okay because it wasn't a comedy. That's a decent little movie, but most Will Ferrell things I hate. I don't think he's funny at all. His comic timing just does nothing for me. I haven't seen Shoplifter's Board now. I'm glad you reminded me though. I may have to add that to my catch-up list before we get to our awards. Devious, what if Netflix actually collapses? What would happen? How would they be bought by someone or what? Oh yeah, watch Disney swoop in. Well, that would be the thing. They'd sell off the library to someone. If Netflix collapses, they'd sell off the library to someone. It would just be a question of who. They'd probably sell off the whole service, actually. I imagine whoever bought Netflix, if they did sell it off, they'd want to keep the infrastructure and keep the service and just make it theirs. Because everyone wants their own streaming service now. So if Universal, say, bought it, they did like, okay, that's ours now. We're Netflix now. I don't think Will Ferrell's funny. Dan, if Netflix was to go under, do you think the internet streaming would still be the future of telly, or do you think that the next decade or so the landscape could change again? I think streaming is still the future, regardless of what happens, but I think it'll be a lesson of mismanagement, for and a warning for others. I do think the bigger problem I think I'm worried about is the oversaturation of streaming services rather than one going down. Ideally for me, you'd have Netflix, Amazon, and Apple's probably the other one. But we're going to have Disney as well. We're going to have Warner Brothers streaming service, which is going to be tiered. They're saying that it's going to have like the cheap version, the expensive version with more stuff, and that's when we're getting into it's just basically a cable package again, and that's when it starts to be like, ah shit, you're kind of ruining this. What we liked about streaming, you're starting to ruin. So hopefully it doesn't go too bad. Addy, you haven't watched our ep reviews. Oh, you have watched our ep reviews. Sorry, I misread that. You have watched our ep reviews, and they are great. Cheers for that. Watched a Spanish film called Time Crimes the other night by chance. Great time travel movie. No, I agree. Actually, Time Crimes is a fun one. I saw that a few years ago. There's a point in that movie where it becomes really predictable in a way because you can kind of see what it's doing, but it doesn't make it any worse. It actually, once you get what it's doing, you can kind of predict a lot of where it's going, but that's okay because it's kind of like a loop, and you kind of like you're piecing the puzzle together and you're kind of happy you figured it out. Time Crimes is good though. I like Time Crimes. I would recommend a film called Coherence, which is not a time travel movie. In fact, we did an overload on it, me and Matt, not too long ago. But that was a really fun little low budget sci-fi movie. Zoolander is one of the Farrell films that you enjoy. I've never seen Zoolander, but I don't really want to watch Zoolander. Everything I've seen from Zoolander makes me think I'll hate it. I think Netflix could probably turn things around. I think they're doing this thing where they're investing so much in original content that they're going so heavily into debt, even though they have ridiculous subscription numbers. Just closing the door. Cat pushing things open, as always. They'll call it Uniflix. Yeah, they might. Joy of the Spot. There are so many streaming options right now that I wouldn't be concerned to see Netflix collapse. There's really no need to be subscribed to more than 1 or 2 services at a time. Yeah, try and keep it limited. It's annoying because sometimes there's content on one. So typically I'll have 2 that I've always on, and then there'll be like a third one that rotates through whatever, whatever service I need for that month or whatnot. Oh, that's right, yeah. Connor and Matt never did this Fantastic Beasts 2 review. Do you think everyone will eventually go digital in our time, meaning no more cable networks, everything will be streaming? I think it will be a while, but it could be in our time. Once a certain generation, dies out, it might go a bit more easy to just say, you know what, traditional broadcast is gone. It could totally happen. Maybe a while though. It'll linger and before it dies for a good long time. Yeah, I saw the first Fantastic Beasts. I had no interest in seeing the second one. I mean, it wasn't terrible. It was okay, but that's kind of how I feel about Harry Potter in general. It's just okay. So I'm just not that invested in it. Hey, I'll take hovercrafts. If they want to invent hovercrafts for general use anytime soon, I'll take them. I'm still disappointed my hoverboard isn't available. Devious, so at what point did Netflix go up with the prices? It's only a matter of time. They actually already went up with their prices like 2 years ago, I might say. It'll happen eventually, yeah. I mean, it'll happen for every streaming service. They'll just gradually go up as inflation goes up over time. But yeah, I could see them going up probably in the next 2 years. Just another $1 or 2. Not a huge jump. But that's a lot of money though. If you've got 50 million subscribers, everyone paying an extra $1 per month is another $50 million a month. So there's clearly incentive for them to do that at some point. Yeah, we'll be waiting forever for Back to the Future technology. Yeah, you have to pick and choose streaming. Netflix is the best. Netflix is the best one for original content, I think. And then you've got the others that you can kind of dabble in. I have Shudder occasionally. I don't tend to keep Shudder for a long time. Typically, I'll get it in October and binge the crap out of stuff, and then that's it. Do you think Johnny Depp will ever get back to making quirky movies again that are overall enjoyable, or is his act too saturated now that they cost too much? Yeah, I think Johnny Depp's done. I've never really liked Johnny Depp, and it feels like finally the rest of the world kind of doesn't like him either. And he's actually, and the weird thing is, he turned into box office poison. Like almost everything he's been in the last almost a decade at this point has bombed. with the exception of whatever the last two Pirates movies were. They've all done really bad. I guess other than Fantastic Beasts, I suppose, but Fantastic Beasts didn't do as well as, say, it could have done. But that's different though, because he's in a franchise. It's not like all based around him. Have I seen Malevolent? I have not seen Malevolent, Renegade. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Serenity. It went up a couple of years ago, because it used to be, yeah, like you say, 10, and now it's 13. I can see it going up again in a couple of years, if even before then. Yeah, and obviously 4K for Netflix costs a little bit more. Yeah. Honestly, for me, Johnny Depp was a caricature for a long time. Like, I felt like his shtick was putting on some white face paint and being quirky in a Tim Burton movie. That was his thing for a long time, and I wasn't a big fan of that either. Renegade, that makes me sad. You used to love him. The only Johnny Depp movie I think I like is A Nightmare on Elm Street. I almost said Friday the 13th there. A Nightmare on Elm Street. I can't really think of another one that I like that much. The Boy Who Would Be King. Is that school one where the kid is basically King Arthur and he's training all of his classmates to fight evil? I wasn't feeling that one myself, but I think Connor was more optimistic. Never saw Dead Man. Yeah, but I've heard good things about it, admittedly. Yeah, some actors, Dan, yeah, get bigger, some get smaller over time. Oh, jeez. No one talks about this. This is from Devious. Is anyone else annoyed when you watch a movie on Netflix and then the credits start? You've already got a recommendation for something else right away. Or am I just weird? Uh, um, yeah. I kind of hate how it shrinks the window right away. I could do with it letting it sit there for a while. Um, those credits are important. People deserve credit. Damn it. Pete, no offense, but I'm sticking on Psycho 4 now. Yeah, but you're not leaving, right? You're watching Psycho 4 and this, which you could do, because I don't think Psycho 4 is meant to be that good. Dear. Do 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 do. Yeah, those that become typecast, Dan. Yeah, start to die away after they in the limelight too long. And then there's like weird examples with like someone like Bruce Willis who everything was going fine for him, and then all of a sudden he started doing really shit like direct to video things. And he does the odd proper thing, but it feels weird. Like they just sort of like give up wanting to try and do big things. They want really easy little cheap things just to get a quick paycheck. Great film to check on Netflix is The Night Comes for Us. I think that's what it's called. Addy, that is on the catch-up list for the 2018 movies. I think there'll be an influx for that sometime in January or February. I think we want to both get to that, so that'll probably happen. Tom Cruise gets away with being the same character in every film. Yeah, I don't know why. I guess he's just charming enough, and he's willing to do all those crazy stunts that people like him. Serenity. Where are we? Morgan Le Fay is the villain, and Captain Picard are going to be Merlin. All right, okay. Yeah, in the Arthur movie, yeah. Allison, Yep, you're just weird. No idea that you're talking about though. Happy New Year, Alison. Welcome to the stream. I'm sticking around. It's not Psycho 1. That's yeah, that's I don't know. I think Cumberbatch has got some dark secrets, Renegade. I think we're going to get some shocking revelations about the Cumberbatch someday. Okay, Johnny, countdown. Stanley Kubrick is considered the best director of all time, but he told his friends that Eraserhead was his favourite film. So Lynch or Kubrick? Or Conundrum, not a countdown. I think I read countdown because I like countdowns. Conundrum. Lynch or Kubrick? It's not neither. I like both those directors a lot. Oh, that's hard. That is really difficult. I think I might lean towards Kubrick because I think Kubrick has a more consistent, amazing filmography, whereas Lynch might personally connect with me a little bit more in some specific movies or shows like Twin Peaks and Mulholland Drive and Elephant Man and stuff like that. But Kubrick's library is not to be challenged. Lewis, or looking forward to Young Justice and the Outsiders. I am looking forward to Young Justice and the Outsiders. We obviously that goes up on Friday. We will be doing our episode that includes those next week. It'll come out the following Friday. I know it kind of sucks that the new DC Universe show is always like a week late because of when we record that, but there has to be a cut off in the week where that's just where the shows stop and we can record. Yeah, me and Tim do have to do the Psycho series in full at some point, Born now. We've got a lot of franchises we're working on right now, but Psycho's definitely on the list to get to at some point. Don't worry, it's happening. Not now, but it's happening. Dan, who do you consider to be the most versatile actor/actresses currently working besides DiCaprio, as he is too obvious? Do you know, I would have said Tom Hardy, but Venom's made me question that thought. Venom's really made me question that. Yeah, Blue Velvet's a movie. Yeah. Oh, who's versatile right now? Who did I get? I feel like Daniel Day-Lewis is the one that feels pretty versatile, but he's kind of retired now. Try. Who have I loved in something recently? In terms of TV, like I would definitely go back to Elizabeth Moss. She's very, very good, and does very, very different things. Addy, that film is Edge of Tomorrow. Although they tried to rename it as Live Die Repeat for the home release, but I ain't having that. Honestly, both titles kind of suck. They should have called it what it's, I think it was a manga it was based on. It was called All You Need Is Kill, which is a far better title. Jake Gyllenhaal's a good answer, Dan. Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal's a good answer. I like Jake Gyllenhaal. In fact, his sister Maggie's very good as well. She's very versatile. You know, you watch The Deuce and you watch... I mean, I guess The Deuce and Secretary are kind of similar because they're both sexual, but she's a very good actress in a lot of things. Yeah. No, I'm glad you agree, Johnny, on Lynch and Kubrick. They're both fantastic, though. I love both. They're both big, great directors. Serenity would love for Velvet, Brubaker's comic, to become a show or a movie. I think it's a matter of time. So many comic books are being optioned for TV shows now. It's a matter of time before some of those get picked up. Yeah. Yeah, both Gyllenhaals are good. Oh yeah, the kindergarten teacher. I heard that was good. I first saw her in Secretary back in like 2002. And it's what's funny is rewatching that a couple of years ago after 50 Shades of Grey became a thing, and how it's eerily kind of felt like it ripped that off. And Secretary's obviously a proper movie with proper. That is a film about someone who is in pain but realizes that they have a thing for S&M essentially. But it's a really good story. It's really well told. Uh, Gyllenhaal pretty much pretty much guarantees that you'll give the film a chance. You really get disappointed, Johnny. Yeah, no. Gyllenhaal's a good selling point usually. Renegade mentioned him, but Rami Malek. You know, that's a good point. Now that he's starting to do different things, yeah, I've not seen Bohemian Rhapsody yet, but that's a very different role to Mr. Robot. But he is a very good actor. I can see him having a big movie career once things get going. Cindy Charlize Theron, yeah, she is pretty good. I feel like I don't see her in that much, but you know, I think of like Mad Max, and then I think about Tully, and then I think about like a cheesy villain like or Fast and the Furious. There is a lot of different roles there. Fassbender's good, Renegade. No, Fassbender's very good. Very intense actor. Um, but sometimes he's in the Snowman, right? And sometimes he's playing Magneto, which not that he was bad as Magneto, but it's very different from something like Shame or you know, the intense dramas like Fish Tank. He's in that, for example. Uh, um, where are we? Carrie Mulligan. Carrie Mulligan's a good actress. I find that she's often in things that I don't see as much. Uh, she was in Shame though, and as you say, she's in Wildlife. So you know, I might see her pop up in more stuff. I feel like she's in a lot of things that I don't watch though. Allison, you always think of Until Dawn with Rami. Yeah, that came out after season 1 of Mr. Robot, so he was like really fresh in my mind when I started seeing stuff from that game. So he was just Mr. Robot in that game. James McAvoy, yeah. I mean, I suppose his character in Split was diverse in and of itself. Uh, so, you know, there you go. Toni Collette, also very good. Obviously, Hereditary this past year, she was phenomenal in that. I think I first saw her in Sixth Sense um, when that came out, or soon after it came out. Denis Villeneuve, no, Villeneuve, Denis Villeneuve, I think is how you pronounce the director of The Arrival and Blade Runner 2049 and Prisoners, which starred Jake Gyllenhaal, which we mentioned. And he's doing Dune. Hey, look at that, a new follower on Twitter. Always nice to see. Um, I don't know most of those actors by name, Serenity, but I might know them, like what parts they've played or what movies they've been in. Villeneuve. I know how to say Denis because I used to say Dennis, but I got corrected on that, so I know it's Denis, but Denis Villeneuve. It's actually much easier to say than it appears, but uh, Taraja P Henson. I liked her in Person of Interest from what I watched of it, and obviously she was in Hidden Figures and a bunch of stuff. She's starting to become really big now, but Alicia Vikander. Yeah, she was good in Ex Machina, and I liked her in Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider had its problems, but I don't think she was one of them. I think she was fine. I never actually saw the remake of Amityville Horror, and I'm sure I will. I'm sure we'll do all of them in streams at some point. She was a good Tomb Raider. That's kind of funny. Um, Denis Villeneuve. Denis Villeneuve. I shall try and remember that. Jerry on the spot. Peter, I recall you mentioning Bella Tar a while back in one of your videos. Where would I start with his films if I haven't seen any yet? That was an excellent question. I've not seen all of them, but I've seen 3 of his films, and I would recommend either Werkmeister Harmonies or The Man from London as the 2 more accessible ones. The Touring Horse is also pretty good, but it's almost like a caricature of his own work at that point. That one, so I would save that till later. I want to see a couple of his other films as well. But if you like the idea of really long shots in black and white and lots of mood with little plot, I would recommend checking them out. They're kind of like an art student or an art film student's like wet dream, is how I'd describe them. And don't listen to Connor. He's got an awful opinion on this. Jeremy Renner's, yeah, usually enjoyable. Vera Farmiga is. I'm not a fan of Bates Motel. I only watched like 1 or 2 episodes and I couldn't get into it. But Vera Farmiga, I liked in Source Code. She's in the new Godzilla movie coming up. She's popped up in a lot of things that I like. Devious is really getting the Velvet Buzzsaw references in today. Oh, that's right. He's Mysterio in Spider-Man. I forgot he was going to play Mysterio. That feels so long ago that news came out. So long ago. Paddy Constantine, yeah. He's not bad. She seemed to be the best part of Bates Motel, Vera, when I saw it. I don't know. Maybe it gets better. It felt weird to me the first couple of episodes. Everything with young Norman and like his stuff with the other kids and that, it was kind of weird. I wasn't getting into it. Man, it's been 3 hours. Jeez, we've been going a while. Not to worry. Just checking things. Oh, sorry, cat. I almost hit the cat with the phone. And I felt really bad. Her sister. Oh yeah, her sister. Joe, it's funny. There's such a big age difference between Vera Farmiga and Tassia Farmiga that I thought they were mother-daughter the first time I saw them together, and then I felt bad because they're sisters. But it's a pretty big age difference. But I do like her as well, though. I like her in The Final Girls and a couple of other things. Yeah. So some shows are like that. Some shows like they're not good until they hit, they find their footing. And you like to give them a chance, but you don't necessarily have time to give every show that much of a chance. Yeah. For anyone who's joined us recently and wasn't here at the start, Starting next week, this regular time will be on a Monday at the same time, which will be 8 UK, 3 Eastern, 1 Pacific. But there'll be a late night version as well, which will be on either Tuesday or Wednesday every week. It'll shift between Tuesday and Wednesday depending on when me and Connor have to do some Drunk Titans or Arrow watching, because that tends to go quite late. But you'll know. I'll put up the the event, as it were, with the countdown, a few days in advance. But that will be around 10 p.m. Eastern and 7 Pacific, and that'll be the late night edition on either Tuesday or Wednesday for anyone who that's convenient to be in that time zone or whatever. What are we talking about now? We're talking about Hannibal and Hugh Grant. Expect one day for us to give in and stream the drunk. Yeah, that's something to do one day, is just stream Connor getting drunk whilst he's watching Arrow and whatever else. That could be a thing. That could be a thing. Oh, we just got a horrible tweet on the comics Twitter. That McComb factor try to get Tyler to make us read Nightwing by Lobdell. And it names both of us. Not happy. Yeah, Homecoming was good. Julia Roberts was good in Homecoming. I liked that a lot. Yeah, I'll do a sneaky stream. Connor won't give me permission. I'll just be like, click. Looking forward to the Kitchen Irish American mobster film. Oh yeah, I remember this. This is the one where it's all the wives take over the mob boss business because all the husbands die or whatever, and so they all take over. I don't like Melissa McCarthy, so not really. Her being in a movie basically makes me want to run the other way, but I remember it existing. Someone mixed up Hugh Jackman and Hugh Grant once for Prisoners. Jake Gyllenhaal laughed his ass off for like 5 minutes. That is a pretty funny mix-up. Hugh Jackman's a lot better than Hugh Grant. I'd be offended if I was him. And then Jake talked like Grant and made him play the killer character of Prisoners. That sounds good. That sounds really good. It's nice when something like that happens in an interview and it feels natural, because you feel like, because these actors do so many like press junkets and they're doing like so many interviews a day when they're promoting a movie, that it has to be really monotonous for them, and they have to keep that smile on. They have to be nice to the interviewers and feel like they're being welcoming, at least on camera. Maybe when the camera's off, they turn to asshole mode. But it's nice when something like that happens because it's so random and you know it's genuine because there was no predicting it. It's nice. Oh, they go to jail in the kitchen. Okay, cool. I like Chris Pratt. Well, I like Chris Pratt. I like I like him in movies. I love Parks and Rec, so it's hard not to love Andy Dwyer, and I like Guardians of the Galaxy. So Hugh Grant as Wolverine would have been good. No, wouldn't. That'd be worse than Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, and that was bad. That is seriously bad. Oh, what an idea! What an idea! Oh, jeez. We have certainly been on a wild ride of subjects tonight. You can tell a couple of the comic-heavy folk left about halfway through because the comic conversation died down, and we've switched more to movies. Which is fine, loosey-goosey. They can go anywhere. It's all about Sam Jackson being mistaken for Lawrence Fishburne. That interview is the best thing ever. Yeah, I vaguely remember that. Sam Jackson not being amused. John Wick 3, yeah, it should be good. Like the last one quite a bit. Dan, I think if he did more roles, Jared Leto has a lot of potential to be versatile. Jared Leto pisses me off. I think he overdoes it in so many movies. So let's not get started on Batman v Superman. It is we're not doing it. We're not doing it. I hate that Lex. I'm leaving it at that. Johnny, Peter, how familiar are you with the David Cronenberg films? You've seen quite a few and like most of them. I'm fairly familiar with a lot of them. I'm very up and down with them. Like, I feel like I love some of them and then I really hate some of the other ones. Videodrome's really good. I love History of Violence is probably my favourite David Cronenberg film. But you know, Videodrome's very good. Scanners is enjoyable. But Naked Lunch, I hated that movie. I've not seen all of them. There's a bunch that I've not seen, but The Fly's pretty solid. Hit and miss, up and down. Some I love, some I don't like. I saw a video of the kid from Jurassic Park. He was at a restaurant and a dinosaur balloon came out and he started screaming. Wait, was this back in the 90s when he was still a kid? Or does he do it as an adult now? Because that might actually be funnier. I mean, just, you know, like it may actually be funny if as an adult if he just starts screaming at dinosaurs. Does he still do the same stream? Does he do that climbing the fence moment? Maybe I could see that. You think Jared Leto actually thinks he's Jesus? Nah, I mean, he was the worst part of Blade Runner 2049. And at risk of starting more DC movie talk, he was terrible as the Joker. I don't like him that much. I mean, it's not that I hate everything he's ever done. Like he's good in Requiem for a Dream. He was fine in American Psycho. He's not the main part, but he's fine when he's there. I don't hate him in that movie. Brightburn looks in. Yes, Brightburn. Brightburn, the satirical Man of Steel movie that recreates the trailer up until it goes dark, well, darker. It was recent. It was on Instagram. Okay, it was when he was an adult. That's cool. Favorite and least favorite Tarantino movies? Dan's asking. Favorite is actually Kill Bill, which I count as just one movie. I don't really split that into 2 volumes. I love as one big thing. I've always watched it back to back as one movie because that's kind of what it was made as. They only split it because it was too long. So I love Kill Bill the most. My least favorite is probably. See, I'm tempted to say Death Proof, but not Death Proof. Sorry, although Death Proof is probably second worst. But I still enjoyed that. But I'm tempted to say Jackie Brown, but I feel bad because I've only seen it the once. I think I may appreciate that more now because I watched that once like 10, 15 years ago. And I didn't like it. I mean, I thought it was okay, but I didn't love it like I did the other films at the time. I might appreciate it more now, with more experience and hindsight. I'll have to rewatch that at some point. Oh yeah, I forgot Jared Leto was an urban legend. So was Michael Rosenbaum, and there's a few people in that. Pacey from Dawson's Creek was in that movie. Joshua Jackson, who I actually know more from Fringe now, but still, they made the Dawson's Creek joke in it, so that's what made me think of that. You haven't seen The Fly, Johnny? That's weird. I feel like that's the most common one that people have seen. Yeah, History of Violence, Videodrome are great. Eastern Promises I was a little bit disappointed in. I was really looking forward to that after after History of Violence, and I was a little bit let down. I've not seen Dead Ringers. I should see that. Leto was in Dallas Buyers Club, Connor. That's right. Um, what if Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is 4 hours long as well, just like in America? I think someone like Tarantino would actually do that. It'll be 3 hours for sure, at least. It will be 3 hours. I mean, he had an intermission in Hateful Eight, so I can totally see it being like a 3.5 hour movie with an intermission. And honestly, Tarantino's movies, like watching a Tarantino movie for me, like he's so good at his craft at how he directs movies, and it's not for everyone. But how he paces scenes and how he has his characters talk, it makes watching a Tarantino movie like just like warm butter sliding down a pan. It's so easy to get through. Like time just flies by for me when I'm watching Tarantino movies. So I'm okay with it being long. I told you I have to rewatch Jackie Brown. Like I don't want to be harsh on it because I need to rewatch it. Um, if that jumps up, it'll probably be Death Proof that's at the bottom because Death Proof's I enjoy Death Proof, but it's definitely the simplest and kind of weakest of them. Connor has to remind us of Tarantino and his hatred for him. Um, yeah, because I liked Hateful Eight a lot. Hateful Eight was in this weird place where it's kind of in the middle of the list for me, and I actually really love watching it. But it's like it's almost like I'm so used to what Tarantino does well now that it was just kind of like typical Tarantino, which is still very very good, but like I couldn't put it above like a couple of the big ones. Um. So my favorite and least favorite are your favorite, Serenity. That's funny. Um, yeah, I like no pun intended, but I love Tarantino when he gets pulpy. Because Kill Bill to me is pure pulp, um, in the best possible way, and I dig that. Connor's wrong about things. That's fine. Uh, Reservoir Dogs, Addy. You love films mainly in one setting, like 12 Angry Men. Yes, I have a term for that. It's called a bottle movie, which I didn't really coin. It's a phrase that comes from TV. The idea of a bottle episode, where it's an episode all set in one place. But I think you can use it for a movie. I love uh, stories like that. I love stuff that's set in one location. I'm right there with you. Reservoir Dogs and Hateful Eight's basically that as well. There's a little bit of lead up before they get there, but once they get to that cabin, they're there in that surrounding area the whole movie. Um, Bad Times at El Real was kind of like that, obviously as well with the hotel. Um, Something like Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead. I love bottle movies, and 12 Angry Men is great as well, of course. Um, Everyone giving me shit for Jackie Brown. Alright, I get it. I'll rewatch it. I'll rewatch it at some point. Have I seen Battle Royale, Allison? It's a favourite of Tarantino's. I have seen Battle Royale. Battle Royale is very good. I enjoy Battle Royale. Hey, what do they call the Hunger Games in France? Battle Royale with cheese. I'll see myself out. Um, Serenity says it took you some aging and 3 watches to like Jackie Brown. Yeah, I might like it a lot more now. Now that I'm older and I've had some hindsight. There's a Toichi. Which Zatoichi? Are you talking about the Beat Takeshi one from 2003? Because there's like 20 like Zatoichi movies from like the 60s and 70s that I've not seen. I've seen the Beat Takeshi one. Um, you know what, Dan? I've never actually read a manga. I guess because it makes me think of anime, and I don't really like anime that much, so I've never really tried one. Tarantino and Tim Burton have styles that I can't stand personally. Um, I disagree with Tarantino, but you know I'm behind you with Tim Burton. I hate Tim Burton movies. I hate them with a passion. Every fibre of my being. Oh yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood will be pulpy as hell. Yeah, looking forward to it. Big, huge, impressive cast. Don't Breathe was an amazing bottle movie. Dan, yeah, I agree with that. I like Don't Breathe a lot. It got a lot more extreme in the last act than I thought it would, but I went with it and had fun. Don't Breathe got a little bit more kind of outrageous in a kind of a fun B-movie way in the last act than I was expecting, but I kind of liked it for that, for what it did. There was one of the grossest scenes in any movie in years was in that movie. It made me almost gag, intentionally so. That was a great joke, Connor. Shut up. Yeah. I don't even know what Devious is saying out chat. This is the problem with the delay. I don't know what I said that inspired like that reaction. Oh dear. Oh, we got comments on things. I'm not even paying attention. Anything good? I'll live react to comments. Behind the scenes stuff. Oh, it's Serenity commenting lots of times on Elsewhere from the Multiverse. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I'll read those later. There's like 10 of them. Surely I don't hate Beetlejuice. I don't hate it as much as the others, but I don't like Beetlejuice. I don't like it. Beetlejuice annoys me. Beetlejuice annoys the shit out of me. I don't like it. I'm sorry. Edward Scissorhands can go jump in a river as well. You didn't like the blind atheist in Don't Breathe. In the sense that you didn't like him as a villain, or you didn't like him and therefore he's a good villain? I guess is what I'm saying. Oh, ouch was a terrible joke. Okay, that makes sense. That's fair. ATM's a movie. Bottle movie about people trapped in an ATM booth. Yeah, I've not seen that. I should see that though. It sounds like something, even if it's bad, I want to see it. RS, do you think DC will release Tales of the Batman Jerry Conway Volume 3 in 2019 to finish his pre-crisis run? Volume 1 was 2017, Volume 2 was 2018. And this is still going on. Yeah, this is going longer, this one. It'll probably not be too much longer, but we're having fun, so why cut it short? Probably. See, if you go to Amazon and search DC Comics and then sort by publication date, you actually get all the trades up to about July. So it may actually already be there. Although I did hear DC have been quietly cancelling the Volume 4 Deluxe editions for Rebirth. They're stopping that line, bizarrely. I heard that in a forum. I don't know how accurate it is, but interesting. Dan, I like over the last few years, horror seems to be getting more funds. The quality of horror films coming has been fairly consistent. Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of terrible horror movies, but there's been a really good amount of great horror movies over the last like 3 or 4 years. It's been a good little run. It feels like a proper resurgence, which I like. Why Pepsi over Coke? Oh, Dan's here. Which is real big Cohen. He's named Dan. I know he's named Dan, which is why I'm calling him that. Well, Pepsi Max, because I don't want the sugar version, because I'm determined to not kill myself by 45. And I think Pepsi Max is way better than like Coke Zero or whatever else is basically the thing. Actual full on Coke and Pepsi. I like both. Best thing is Coke out of a glass bottle. A glass bottle of Coke is the best. I just saw Serenity say those comments are mostly mine. I'm sure. Yeah, they are. Beetlejuice is great. I'll not stand for it. I'm trying to get rid of drinking soda. I'm transitioning more and more to water. The best I can. It's a habit that I need to kick, But I've been doing well though. I've been drinking a lot more water the last couple of years. Okay, I get it. You didn't like him as a villain. It was a bit more over the top. It definitely was a bit more into the B movie territory than I thought it was going to be. But I kind of liked it as a good B movie because I thought it was a good B movie, but not one that you would take super seriously. Addy's not a Tim Burton fan. Really enjoyed You're Next. Yeah, I got confused there because it said horror. I was just a typo for horror. But yeah, no, Your Next was great. That was a surprise. I went to see that in the theater just to kill time. I didn't think it looked good from the trailer, and then I was really impressed, and I thought it was a great, like, you know, oh, the final girl's like basically Jane Rambo, and she's like taking out all the bad. That was a great movie. I love that movie. When can we expect best of the year videos? From Tara. Hey Tara, welcome to the stream. You can expect the TV ones starting this weekend. We start recording them on Friday, so the first one will definitely be up over the weekend, and then into early next week is when the TV ones are coming. All the movie stuff is going to happen in February because we want to have time to catch up on some movies. So we're going to be recording that just before the Oscars, I think, so that it's all kind of timed with the Oscar season. So that it's thematic. Same with streams after midnight. I think me and Tim are wanting to catch up on a few that we missed. So yeah, hope that's a nice time frame for everyone. Devious. Speaking of horror movies, us will be pretty intense. I'll be scared as shit. Trailer was good. Yeah, I think we're doing a trailer talk tomorrow. We're recording that, assuming we stick to the schedule. So we should be talking about that trailer soon. RS, it annoys me when DC solicits and cancels collectors collections. It makes me hesitate to get Omnibus. Hope we still get Bronze Age Batgirl Volume 2 and Bronze Age Justice League Volume 3. They've been doing quite well with those Bronze Age and Silver Age Omnibus. To their credit, I don't think they solicited a lot of those Rebirth Deluxe Volume 4s. I think they were only showing up early on sites like Amazon, because they show up on those sites before they're solicited. So you could technically argue that they're not cancelling anything because they never really announced them in the first place. But, you know, that's what it is. The Beetlejuice cartoon movie is decent. I love Winona Ryder, but the TV show's the best. We're talking about the movie. I think I saw a couple episodes of the cartoon once upon a time, but I don't really remember it very well. Yeah, looking forward to watching the Oz trailer. So I've actually left it. I want to get like a more of a genuine reaction when I get to it. Anyone looking forward to Magician Season 4? You know we don't watch that, but yeah, good question for the chat. Tara, now that you're done with the original Star Trek, did your opinion of Discovery change? That's a good question. I wouldn't say it's changed, really. I would say I think we were far enough in the original show that we had a good sense of what Star Trek was, or should be, or what it was at the time at least. I think some of the weird continuity and things, and the things that feel like they don't kind of jive, like, you know, Spock has this half sister all of a sudden, like, and stuff like that. The idea that there was a mutineer before Star Trek, the original show, feels kind of weird, given that in that original show it feels like that was never a thing. Someone asked earlier on if I was looking forward to the Patrick Stewart show, and I am, because I'm glad that we're getting a show that's set like in the future, like after all the other stuff, because it felt weird to me that everything's revolving around the original series, between the Can miniseries, between the newer movies that came out, between Discovery, but yeah. So I mean, my opinion on Discovery is pretty much the same. It had some high points in the middle. The ending felt a bit rushed. It felt a bit messy overall, but I'm hopeful season 2 is good. Season 2's trailer was a bit lighter and felt a bit more fun, and I'm okay with Star Trek being more of an adventure show now if they want to be that. Just as long as they keep some of the ideals, I think, of believing in a better future of the original show, I think it can still work. Dan, do you think the second It movie will live up to the hype built in the first movie? Everyone went into the first movie without expectations, but now everyone is expecting more from it. that's hard to say. I don't have like a super high opinion of it. Like I think I like the kids in the movie and I like their relationship and like their kind of like Goonies-esque side of it. The actual horror movie stuff I thought was really generic. So for me, I'm concerned because it's not going to be the kids. It's going to be this new cast. As good as Jessica Chastain is, so I'm concerned that that magic will be gone. And if that's gone, I might not be into the rest of it as much. So, will live up for everyone else. I will guess no, but I'm just making a bit of a stab in the dark. I feel like it captured this zeitgeist thing because Stranger Things is big. The evil clown marketing kind of works for most people, I think. So I would guess no, but RS, do you think Agent Blake from the upcoming Watchmen HBO series will turn out to be an older Silk Spectre now using her father's name? That's a good question. A good question. I will say about that Watchmen show, I like all the creepy cops and the masks. I'm digging that. I'm digging that visual. I'm hopeful that'll be good. We know there's going to be, or at least I think we know that Jeremy Irons is playing an old Ozymandias, right? So the idea that someone might turn out to be someone's daughter seems very likely. So maybe. Dan, looking forward to Magician Season 4. Yeah, cool. Addy, I know that you said you don't watch anime, but One Punch Man is a blast. Don't watch hardly much anime myself, but that was excellent. Connor thinks I'd hate that. I did not agree to shit, Connor. I did not agree to nothing. How dare you? How dare you? I did not agree to no such anime watchings. I'll tell you what, when we've finally done Buffy and Angel, we'll talk about anime. Actually, no, what? We'll do Buffy and Angel, and then once we do the Clone Wars after that, then we could talk about anime. These are the sequence of events. From Johnny, are you familiar with the website 366 Weird Movies? I just discovered it a couple of months ago, and it's how it exposed me to a lot of the weird cinema beyond the Lynch, Medin, Cronenberg I've already seen. I've actually not. It sounds interesting though. It sounds almost like something that for me and Tim to to look at. Everyone with a Cowboy Bebop. You like Cowboy Bebop? Netflix are doing a live action show. Maybe I'll watch that. Which Brubaker books have you read? Fade Out was one of your faves. Dan, I have read some of his Captain America. I actually tried Fatale and didn't like it. I got like 4 or 5 issues in, and I was struggling to remember things. I like Gotham Central, which is him and Rucka. I've not read a whole lot of his creator own stuff. I've not read Criminal. I've not read Fade Out or some of those other books. So I'm quite late on Brubaker actually. I've not read a lot of Brubaker. Alright, so if the CW ever does Crime Syndicate, do you think they could ever make Atomica Earth 3 Iris? Since Atomica was Johnny Quick's girlfriend and Forever Evil. Yeah, I mean, if we're getting Evil Flash and Arrow and Supergirl, I don't see why we wouldn't get Evil Iris. Like, why not? Makes sense. Talk about Fade Out. One Punch Man takes the mickey out of itself and anime in general. That's why you like it. Oh, that's right, yeah. It wouldn't be Earth 3 on CW, because Earth 3 is where Jay's from. You're right, yeah. I mean, it doesn't really matter what number it is, right? I mean, just call it Earth 21. Earth 95, whatever. I mean, it's fine. Oh, we couldn't do 300. We don't even hit 366 regular Screams episodes in 1 year. I think we got to 76 in 2018. I think the last one, because it just changed. Like today's Leprechaun review was 2019 episode 1. I think the last one from the last year was episode 76, which I think is not bad. That's, you know, if we hit an average of 1.5 a week, that means we did a lot of extras, at least for October. Jeez, try to get me to watch 366 movies in a year. Hell, I didn't even watch 366 movies in total in 2018. I think my total was like 195. Dan, if you could swap any 3 Marvel DC villains into heroes and vice versa, who would you choose to make change sides? All right, so I'm just making heroes villains and villains heroes. Right? Okay, I get the question. I thought you were asking about like a Doc Ock superior Spider-Man thing, kind of idea. Let me think. Villains into heroes. I mean, it feels cheap to say Sinestro because it kind of is bordering on that a little bit. Back and forth. It's funny because it's not something I've thought about a lot, but then, you know, you have something like Clayface in Detective Comics, and it's like, man, I actually kind of like him being this hero, this rehabilitated hero, who's trying to fight for redemption. But if I'm picking some villains, I think Riddler's a good example. Riddler's kind of like a character who he could use. He could become like a Sherlock type thing. I know they kind of did that at one point in Detective Comics, but yeah. Connor, stop trying to mess with things. I'm trying to think of what other villains could be interesting heroes. Because I feel like a lot of the ones that would be interesting have kind of dabbled with like Lex and things like that. I'm trying to run through various. And again, the Rogues and the Flash. You know, Captain Cold's kind of been an anti-hero here or there. Yeah, I guess it has to be someone like Two-Face or Doc Ock, right? Where they did have like a tragic kind of like turn, and you believe the good person's still in there. I always like when they hint that Harvey can still sometimes take control back. I'm always into that. Connor, we do not have time. We are packed schedule. Stop. Look at all this anime talk. All these words I don't understand are getting thrown into the chat now. All this anime bollocks. Stop it. You might like Attack on Titan. No. Stop it. Stop it. My God, you say a few positive words about Ghost in the Shell, and all of a sudden everyone's recommending anime to you. Want no part of it. Alright, I saw Into the Spider-Verse with your dad. He read the night Gwen Stacy died when it first came out in 1975. Wow, okay, that's old school. He got teary-eyed when Miles caught and saved Gwen near the end of the film. Oh, that's a nice story. Yeah, Into Spider-Verse was great. I loved that. Between that and Homecoming, we're having a really good run for Spider-Man movies, even games, because the game is great. So it's a good era for Spider-Man and media. Mysterio will be a hero in Spider-Man 2, but that's probably just a marketing trick. But that's what they're saying. Nah, he's going to be a villain by the end. Johnny, Peter, what 2 movies have most drastically changed your evaluation of? One that you hated then loved, one that you loved then hated. Blair Witch Project. I hated that when it first came out. And I didn't watch it for like the years and years, way over a decade. And then we rewatched it last year. Well, actually, not 2 years ago now, 2017 for Screams. And I was pleasantly surprised at how wrong I was. I thought that was a great movie after I watched it again, with a modern mind. For the opposite way around, though, something that I loved and then grew to hate. I don't know if there's any great examples as an adult. I feel like anything I could pick would probably be stuff that I loved as a kid. That obviously I grew up and went, hey, that's shite. So I don't know if I got a good answer for that one, but definitely for the other way around, I think Blair Witch Project's a really good answer. Where are we? We had time to start a whole new comic podcast, and you don't have time for just 20 more minutes. Other things that we could be doing instead. Other things we could do instead. Not having this. Da 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 da. Anime crap, anime crap, anime crap. Here's hoping for Far From Home. Now I'm looking forward to Far From Home. I liked Homecoming. Good, should be good stuff. Anime crap, anime crap. This is how I respond to anime comments and questions now. It's just anime crap. Move on, move on. Other things, it's fine. Oh dear. What's funny is that ad that I placed earlier on will actually be about halfway through now, which is convenient. This is limited. This is not a whole audience. We have 5,000 subscribers. I want at least 2,000 of them to tell me they want anime. 2,000, I hear you say. 2,000. 2,000. Why can't I speak anymore? 2,000. Ah, dear. Do. Blair Witch is great. Picked up Blair Witch t-shirt from Virgin Megastore for $3.99. Oh, Blair Witch 2 is terrible, yeah. And the new Blair Witch that came out, which funnily enough was from the director of Your Next, which is why it had potential, was just okay. Like it felt like it didn't need to exist, and I was kind of disappointed in it. It wasn't as bad as 2, admittedly, but yeah. What is the worst anime crap that you've seen so far? What is the worst and best anime crap that you've seen so far? Best, Ghost in the Shell. Yeah, Ghost in the Shell. And then worst, I tried watching oh god, what's the name of it? Evangelion. Neon Genesis Evangelion, that's it. Either that, and honestly, and I'm going to get hate for this, but I watched Akira once, and I thought it was a convoluted mess. I could barely pay attention to what was going on. I had no idea what was happening after like the first 10 minutes. Terrible. Want no part of it. Johnny, I was in high school freshman when Blair Witch came out and totally bought into the fake backstory because I didn't have the internet or know much about media literacy. Absolutely terrified me. Yeah, that was a really interesting time because I don't think I had internet when that first came out either. I was a little bit younger than that. I get internet maybe 2 years later. I don't know if I thought it was real. I think I was too young to even know if I had an opinion on it, but. Last broadcast, not seen that, but interesting. Next Patreon vote, I'm pushing for your name to be an option. Don't let me down, people. No, this is. No, I'm not having you conspiring with people. You have to be independent, Connor. You have to be neutral in these matters. Yeah, Blair Witch was a whole viral marketing thing. You're right, Alison. That was what sold the movie. Was all those rumors and like fake, like, you know, this was real, these kids are actually missing. Alright, so I have a theory. What if Mimi Marionette's son was Robert DeCheney? I can't say that name, but I know who you're talking about. The psychic kid whose brain Veet used in his squid. Mime's invisible guns could be psychic constructs. That's interesting. I mean, how long ago did they have their son? Actually, that's right. It's not present day, right? Because the Watchmen universe, when we start Doomsday Clock, it's only like 1992, so it's only been like what 4 years, 5 years since Watchmen. Depending on when they had their kid, you never know. Never know. It's not a bad guess. I feel like their new kid is going to become someone though. I feel like that's important. So I don't know. But you know, Doomsday Clock is so good, man. Oh, wrong window. Oh, back to chat. There's a movie that's found footage with a raptor. Get on it, Peter. Well, maybe if you named it, I could get on it. What's it called? Recently saw your name for the first time. Loved it as well. All these people loving your name. Okay, alright, I get it. Your name. People like it. There's a lot of good standalone anime films that you can trick him into watching. I don't like where this is going. All these people conspiring. I'm not liking this. Sounds like time to end the stream to me. I don't know. This is madness. Absolute madness. Did you check out Isle of Dogs from last year? Haven't seen Isle of Dogs yet, no. Do I have a favourite puppet cartoon stop motion film? I don't know if I do, actually. Stop motion. Or puppet. I mean, I like Wallace and Gromit. I hate Nightmare Before Christmas before anyone suggests that one. I'll tell you that right now. I haven't seen Kubo, but I do hear good things. How often do you get to see Connor, Tim, etc. face to face? In person? Not often. Rarely. I've met Connor face to face, but not Tim and Matt. We are a beacon. We're a beacon of how the internet can bring people together. Hey, Devious, cut that. Cut that spam out. I will not tolerate it. How dare you? Maybe Marionette were arrested sometime in the 70s before the Keane Act outlawed heroes. I never thought they were that old, but you could be right. I assumed they were younger than that, but yeah, you could be. Wallace and Gromit is my favourite anime. Crack and cheese, Gromit. That was a funny comment. I'll give you that one. That was funny. Area 40. Interesting. How did I meet Connor? With great pain and difficulty. No, all four of us met because we all listened to a comics podcast that doesn't exist anymore, and we were in a Facebook group. And eventually, someone had an idea of starting a podcast of some kind, and I got involved in it. And then I reached out to Matt about doing a movie one as well, because I think the initial one was a comics thing, and it's changed so much since like that early time. But we've all remained friends, and Mild Fuzz kind of grew and became this thing that I really get into and wanted to spearhead and keep doing, and here we are. No, we met on the internet. We met on the internet. I just explained that really, I guess, but obviously you're not on a delay. But yeah, I just answered that. I love Connor, you know it. I don't know about that, Renegade. I don't know about that. Yeah. So no, I mean that's just kind of how we met. That we still just chat, kind of constantly. Obviously me and Connor see the most of each other because we're constantly recording shit. But obviously I speak to Matt and Tim every week and whatnot. Concerned that he erased Jay and Irene with the New 52, I hope Dr. Manhattan doesn't get off with a slap in the wrist. At least put him in the Phantom Zone. If he brings everyone back, I mean, we can maybe forgive things. Because theoretically, if he comes out, if everyone comes back, it might rewrite the timeline, and everyone will kind of forget the story up until now, potentially, or it'll be like they were always there. I don't know. He blushed. I did not blush. I what's this comment? That you should have an anime themed 30th birthday bash. Cosplay is my favorite anime character. If I ever cosplay, I could damn well guarantee it ain't going to be as an anime character. Damn well guarantee. Oh dear. Oh, what a stream. What a stream this has been. I'll start winding this up, because it's been almost... Jessica Cruz. I'm not dressing up as... I mean, I love Jessica Cruz, but I'm not... There's a difference between blushing and laughing hysterically, Johnny. There's a difference. I'll start winding... I'm not done right yet, but I'm going to start winding this up by promoting things that are coming and reiterating some things. So... We have, obviously, Traveller's finale is going up after I'm done with this, so it'll be up really soon. Obviously, we now have the Two Comics podcast. There's no TV multiverse this week. They'll be back next week with Young Justice and the archive stuff. Trailer Talk, hopefully, will get recorded tomorrow. The news shows are not back this week. They'll be back the following weekend. They'll start coming back. Mainly to give us time to do the award stuff, and also because there wasn't a lot of news this week from what we've seen. So just to give us the extra time there. Is there anything else important to tell you? I mentioned the countdown and Influx coming up. Do you and Cara ever get to hang out in person? We have met in person, but it's not a frequent thing. It's not something that happens regularly. I suppose someday we could do a thing where we actually record something in person together, but it's not a frequent thing. I'm wrapping up the stream because it's nearly been 4 hours since I started. Godzilla movie? Netflix? Oh yes, Connor's telling me to plug things. Yes, we have the next animated Godzilla movie from Netflix. The end of the trilogy is coming soon, next week. And then the week after that we have Superman, Reign of the Superman, which is the follow-up to Death of Superman. So we're doing that. There you go. There's some things plugged. And go check out Elsewhere in the Multiverse if you haven't, if you're interested in comics. RS, do you think Dr. Manhattan, Ozymandias, will survive Doomsday Clock? I don't know. That's an interesting question. I could see them going back to their own universe and not dying, but I could also see them both dying. Ozymandias, for sure, I can see biting it. I wouldn't put bets on it, though. I don't feel that strongly about my prediction. So, anything else to plug or tell you about that's coming up? Outside of the fact, just reiterate that next week, the stream at this time will be on Monday, and then Tuesday or Wednesday, when we decide, we'll have the late night stream that'll start about... in 10 p.m. Eastern, 10 or 11 Eastern, one of those two hours. True Detective makes a return soon. That's true. We're talking about that a bit earlier. Well done plugging Godzilla now. Why well done? Why is Devious grading my plugging? Yeah. Stream's been great though. Had a lot of fun. And we'll do this next week. So there'll be 2 streams next week, and that'll likely be normal going forward. So everyone in different times gets a chance. And if you can make both streams, then great. Then we can hang out twice in the week and talk about whatever random crap we're going to do. So And enough with this anime crap. Look at all this anime crap that just keeps coming. Stop this. Stop this now. Had enough of this. I won't stand for it. There'll be no easing me in. Did you say white night stream as in Batman? You misheard me. I didn't say white night. I said late night stream. There'll be a late night stream later in the evening. So that'll be the late one. No worries, Tara. That's no worries. Like I say, next Monday, 8 UK, 3 PM Eastern, 1 Pacific, and then Tuesday or Wednesday, the remainder sort of video will go up a couple of days in advance, and that'll be Tuesday or Wednesday. The late night one will be 10 or 11 Eastern, and 7 or 8 Pacific for the late one. So that'll be coming on Tuesday or Wednesday, and that'll be every week as well. But it'll flip between the 2 days depending on when me and Connor need to stay up late, drunk watching things. Oh, Connor drunks watch. I just sit amused. Yeah. Oh, Tara's an ally. Yes. Someone who does not care about anime. Thank you so much, Tara. You're my new favorite. Not only do you not speak anime, I can really easily pivot from you into a Buffy reference, because there was a character named Tara on the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, in case anyone didn't know that. Just for the record. Yes. But yeah, thanks everyone for showing up. Thanks for everyone for coming and chatting. These streams are fun, and we'll make this is a regular thing now. We'll do this every week. So I say Monday for the earlier one. I'll just say 3 PM Eastern, and then Tuesday or Wednesday, depending. Again, just like this one, the video sort of placeholder will go up with the time, and you can set a reminder if you want, and that'll be Tuesday or Wednesday at 10 or 11 Eastern. 10 or 11. I said I mumbled my words together there. That was poor presenting skills. But thanks RS, thanks for the kind words on the new show, and thanks to everyone for showing up and chatting, and I'll see you guys next week for 2 streams for some of you, if not all of you. Okay, I feel like Tara is like now hating me because too many a person has made a Buffy reference with her name. There has to be other Taras that people can reference. That's not the only Tara in the world. Yeah, but thanks very much, guys. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you all guys on Monday next week for the next stream. I love the fact that you guys showed up and chat about a variety of things. Thank you very much. And I suppose I should probably plug the other stuff, right? You know, like and subscribing. And it would be silly not to plug patreon.com/Mild Fuzz TV. It's in the corner of the video up there. If you want to go over there and support, you can of course support here on Super Chat. I never mentioned that earlier, but you can give a one-time thing on the Super Chat if you want on YouTube. But if you want to go and sub Patreon for like $1 a month to support us financially, you can. But don't worry if you can't. Showing up is more than good enough. All that I would ask then is that you don't use AdBlock and just let the ads play. Maybe that does help. That generally does help and help things. So thank you very much. So hey, maybe 4 hours will be the normal time now. Maybe that'll be the normal length. Board wants 5 and RS wants 4 more. So thanks very much, guys. Thank you all for showing up. Appreciate it loads. I will see you guys in next time. I don't have a catchphrase for this. I did think of one for Marvel though. I thought of one for elsewhere. I have got a catchphrase locked and loaded for next episode. Yeah, Traveler's Finale review is coming up in a couple minutes. Thank you very much, guys. I will see you next time. Goodbye.